to get your information. Total Spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you will know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on gradually, my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kiribaba, 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 kiribaba. What I want? Yes, what you about today? Spoon TV. Yes, what you about today? Spoon TV. Spoon
Okay, folks. Good evening to you. Time here in Liberia, 3 minutes down, 8 p.m. Today is the 18th day of May, 2023. This is how I love to welcome you to another edition of Spoon Talk. My name is Diamond Slanger, and I'm producing this a wet night here in most parts of Liberia. It's really raining. Good evening to you, James. Good evening to you. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Richardson. How are you guys doing?
Diamond, hello. James, hello.
What's up?
So, raining, and you're telling us it's raining, huh?
Yeah, it's really raining. It's thundering as well. Yeah, it's been raining since about seven-ish around there this evening. Yeah, it's been raining.
I hope everyone stay safe and that you guys, the radio station and the internet would be great for us tonight, considering that when it rains we tend to have some challenges. But how are you guys doing? How was your day today?
Yeah, James, go ahead and answer. Dada, are you closer to Dada Richardson? You right near. Answer first.
So what about you? You know, okay? I'm okay.
Yeah, I didn't say I'm not okay. I said I'm fine. But you, when you look at the picture here, you're closer to Dr. Richardson than I am. So answer first, then answer after you.
I'm okay.
You okay? Dama, how you?
Yes, ma'am. Afafa. Yeah.
You
all right.
Fafa? You all right?
Fafa.
Fafa.
55. 55.
Oh, 55. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think of Fafa. Oh, okay. Well, I had a really rush day today. I just got in the house. I wanted to do some errands, and I just feel like, I'm a little tired. But hey, we're here today, and I'm sure we're going to have a great conversation. We're going to have a spirited conversation. We're going to provide information to the Liberian people, and at the end, they'll have to make the decision as to how we want our country to progress, how we want it to move on. And that's the beauty of being here. So, having said that, I want to welcome every one of you to the show. Those of you who are, writing in the comment section, We appreciate everything that you say. Thank you for being a part of this show. And those of you who are going to call in, we also appreciate all that you have to say. In as much as sometimes you disagree with us, and that's okay. That's really, really okay. That's the beauty of democracy. There can be multiple opinions. And in the end, whatever um, resonate with the people will prevail. So that's the beauty of democracy. Um, Diamond, I want to go to you because you always have these really, really interesting news to tell us what's going on in Liberia. And then we're going to transition to Good Day. He's also going to tell us what is happening in Liberia. As we wait for our team to come in, everybody's probably just clocking off from work. They'll be rolling in. So, Diamond, what's happening in the country?
Well, a lot of things happening in the country, Dr. Richardson, aside us getting our rain gears, all set for the rainy season that is upon us. Before I begin, I'd love to say a big thank you to Mr. David Kekula. If you're watching, I'd love to say thank you to you and the occupants or the passengers of your vehicle on Sunday. We did have a breakdown en route to Buchanan City to cover the endorsement there. And he stopped by, especially it's difficult for people to just stop along the highway to help another person who's stranded. You might be thinking all sorts of things, but he stopped. He towed our vehicle to a safe place. And I love to tell him, thank you. I had wanted to do that on Monday, but then it slipped my mind, an honest mistake. So I thought it wise to jot that down and say thank you to Mr. David Kekula and all those on board his vehicle that were able to render us that help. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I also want to, since we're still in the month of May, I want to say congratulations to Madam Mary Burr. Nothing specifically, but I've been following her works, since she was brought in country by Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. If you look at her track records, she's been one of the astute public servants. She's somebody who doesn't bend. She's always straightforward, and everywhere she goes, she touches that entity or that government agency that she's made to either be the head or to just give some assistance during that period. I remember when I went for my birth certificate, it wasn't an easy thing, Yeah, I experienced her sternness. So I love to say thank you, ma'am. Keep doing what you're doing. Liberia, our problem plenty, but once you're able to solve some, you worth being celebrated. People have diverse views about you, but when it comes to getting your job done, you really know how to get your job done as well. So that's one thing I want to say. I want to appreciate her in this month of May. So there's this new drug in Liberia called Kush. Dr. Richardson, that's small thing Kush doing in Liberia. Yeah, I don't know if they brought that drug specifically as a punishment or as a deterrent for people to stop taking in illicit substances. But Kush is really causing serious problem in the country when it comes to the death rate. We've been hearing a lot of news about Kush, and I got some information from Grand Jida County. It's still a developing story. Still trying to get more confirmations on this, but it is reported that in Grand Jida County, 3 persons died from taking in Kush. Kush down plain. Yeah.
So Diamond, what are some of the symptoms of people who take Kush? Are they like when people take drugs that make them unconscious here, sometimes they'll be walking the street and walking. I wonder if that's the same kind of experience. Like they're very they're unstable. They'll be like walking the street and sleeping. Is that the same that's happening?
Well, I haven't been close to somebody who's taking in Kush, but I've been at a distance when it was alleged that another guy, a young guy, took in Kush and he was unconscious. His friends were taking him to his mother's place, and she said no, they shouldn't bring him there because when he's doing his things, she's not around. So why should they bring him home? She's tried to get him to change and all of that. So I can tell you what the effects are or the symptoms are when somebody takes in Kush, but the stories we've been hearing is that Kush is really, really wreaking havoc in Liberia. I've heard stories of students dying from various institutions from taking in Kush. And I just got the story again from Grand Gita County. It's still a developing story. That 3 persons, died again as a result of taking in this deadly drug called Kush. So we need to still have more awareness on drug intake in our country, substance abuse. We shouldn't wait for people to lose their lives first before we say, okay, this is dangerous. But
yeah, I'm just trying to determine what type of drug it is. Is it opiates or or a drug to replace opiate is like methadone or Suboxone, which is some of the drugs that they have here to help people who are on substance abuse. But when they take that drug and they don't take it properly, like you could be like unconscious most of the time, and even you'll be walking like as if you're not even there. Like you stand up and fall asleep. And so that's why I'm trying to determine what is going on, like with Kush. What kind of drug is it? Is it an opiate? Is it marijuana mix? Is it anyway? Yeah,
it's more like meth. Somebody says it's fentanyl or something like that sort.
Fentanyl. Like fentanyl is became popular. That's why kind of some people say took Michael Jackson in. Yeah,
fentanyl. So that our Kush doing, and there is something about it that people are saying. If you listen to people from diverse backgrounds, those who are against substance abuse, some of them are even saying this is a lesson. Kush is trying to teach people a lesson to stay off drugs and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Then there are others who are saying, yeah, let them keep taking it. Let them keep dying. Though we don't pray for anybody to die, but there are others who feel like this is going to be a deterrent to others not to get involved in drug taking. There was a time back, this drug called she's what the tablet training used to be taking to be sleeping and be what the tablet name. I've just forgotten the name. Yeah, that tablet, it's an antidepressant, it's a sedative. When you take it, you're supposed to sleep and all that. The children started abusing it in this country, like everywhere you pass. I've just forgotten the name of the Tramadol. Oh yes. Tramadol became the thing of the day in Liberia. Tramadol. Everybody's taking Tramadol in. Now they've graduated now to Kush, and Kush don't play. It's not like
somebody, Haji Tiger said that Kush is a mix of fentanyl, like you said, and opium.
Okay.
Marijuana. I think we call that opium in Liberia, but marijuana. Interesting. Anyway, I hope that the body in charge of substance abuse in Liberia, like you said, keep an eye on that because it's deadly. It's deadly. So
okay. So just to end quickly, I'm sure you guys talked about the story yesterday. The baby that was found, with the head decapitated. The police has said to have launched an investigation that up to present time there hasn't been any arrests so far, but that was a gruesome sight, to find a baby with its head decapitated. People are speculating a lot of things that it might be linked to ritualistic purposes and a whole lot of things, but the question is, how come a baby will be found? This is not an area that you have wild animals. We in an urban area to say probably the baby's head could have been devoured by some animal or something of that sort. But it's really scary, Dr. Richardson. It's really scary that
it's sad.
When we are approaching these times, especially, we'll see a lot of these things happening in the country, and we don't want to be reporting these stories.
I wasn't here yesterday. What county did this happen in?
It happened right to GSA Road in a Greenwich, right here, Pinsville.
Oh wow!
Oh, yeah, GSA Road. I got the link. Somebody gave me the scoop, but I didn't have the stomach to go there.
Thank God.
Yeah. I didn't have the stomach to go there. I had one unpleasant experience with a baby that was left on the bridge, the Gabriel Tucker Bridge. Beautiful baby girl. She was left in a tassel bag, and she died. Since that time, Dr. Richardson, I don't have the stomach to cover such stuff.
It's traumatizing. I mean, it's like you can't get that image out of your head for many days.
Yeah.
Sometimes your mind will play trick on you, like you see the baby and you hear baby crying in your head, and sometimes you can't even eat right. you start to think of a child. So it's trauma. That's all trauma. It's traumatizing. So.
Yeah, so I just end there. James will talk about a 100 million drug case that came. The court proceedings ended today. You elaborate on that, and Mr. Fakon got more details and all of that. But those are just updates.
I think you can tip me on that. I don't have any link to
Mr. Fakon will talk about that.
Okay, all right. Well, I saw it in Front Page Africa. I didn't read it, but we can cover it. But thank you so much for updating us with some of the trending issues in the country. I will kind of go over to James. James, anything you want to add on?
Yeah, Liberia is turning into a playground day by day as we move closer to October 10th, roughly about 5 months, few days, in order to have a new president or to have two people that we will put them up for a runoff. The last time we were here, we talked about Unity Party supporters welcoming Unity Party supporters who declare support for JNB. Today, we saw the vice president yelling everywhere, calling everyone to join her. We saw several non-essential workers of Capitol Hill, most especially people who pick from the community. You know, on Capitol Hill, more people don't know about the workers in Capitol Hill. I reported on Capitol Hill for a couple of years. There's this working system. If I'm working in Senator Fagon's office and I'm making 150, I am the one, my name is on the payroll for that 150. But Diamond will also benefit from that 150 I'm making. Aaron Kuben will benefit from that 150 I'm making. Nelson will benefit from that 150 I'm working for. So if I work for this month, maybe next month Diamond will go there. The following month, Nelson Kuler will go, just like that. That is how most people work on Capitol Hill. Why it is like that? Fakon was contesting to be senator. He had all of these boys supporting him. And at the end of the day, Fakon is to only carry 15 people to work in his office. Fakon cannot carry everyone who helped him during the campaign. So what Fakon does, that 15 people, maybe about 40 or 50 people will benefit from the 15 names. Will benefit from that 15 names, where you have 2 persons to a name, so then 3 persons to a name. Almost all the lawmakers on Capitol Hill, that's what they're doing. Almost everyone on Capitol Hill. Only very few not doing it. Even it caused the Senate to recently increase their workforce to 5. They had to add additional 5 workers to their list. We saw that happening. That was how some of our colleagues even got incorporated on Capitol Hill. So if you hear somebody tell you non-essential workers on Capitol Hill, that is how it is like. Those jobs are political jobs. So one person will work for $100 and 2-3 persons will benefit from it. I know many lawmakers, even if you ask Representative Yeger Colbert, he's going to tell you, Senator Dillon will tell you about that. Most lawmakers on Capitol Hill, they're doing it because their positions are political positions. So today we saw most of those people who are benefiting from their colleagues, non-essential workers on Capitol Hill in the name of endorsing President George Manning Weah second bid for the presidency. And the funny part about it, I had a colleague there who is also benefiting from one of the lawmakers, one of the CDC lawmakers. And at the end of the day, he called me. We were there talking. He said, "My man, yeah, I'm waiting for our capital. They want to give our transportation." I'm like, what you mean transportation? He said, "My man, that great organized the whole thing here. Great said, because the people did it here, we should come and show support to the people. That support we can't show here." So today we saw that happening on Capitol Hill. And I was like, why CDC deceiving their own purpose of the circle. That is the president re-election. Why are they deceiving the president? And I saw, I felt bad to see a woman I really respect a lot, the vice president, also in attendance, and she was like, serious? That somebody on a serious work? I was like, wow. Like, we were trying to.
Can you get that video ready?
Yeah, I have the video already.
Thank you. I think we'll have our panelists give their thoughts about it. So, but thank you for updating us. And
so we saw that, and
James, hold on. I just want to welcome Mr. Fagon to the show as well. Mr. Fagon, welcome. It's good to have you here today. Go ahead, good day.
Okay, yeah, so that is it, and we still hearing about you people, that you guys are moving gradually, and you are too close to call on Councilor Bransky, and congratulations to you that you are moving gradually. So that is it, and people will ask why I'm saying about the thing that I just talked about on Capitol Hill. People who working from the legislature, you can ask most of them, they will tell you about what I just said. That is how it is like on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I also want to welcome, I see Stanton just made his appearance. So welcome to you as well. But before we even go into...
Don't make that much serious. So, Dama, why you serious? Because I'm saying $50.
you just said something, and now you just expose yourself.
You guys say $50. I said it to James, and I sent it to James, and James decided to eat it because James said,
I don't know why you need a middleman. If all you wanted to send it to me, you know how to get to me. But that's no issue.
No. I lost your number, Dama.
The minister on my mind got nothing to do with that.
The what on your mind?
Multiply by 10 or 20 or 30.
I tell you, somebody going to multiply by 10. Sit down there.
So actually, I just wanted to highlight, I think Alhaji Tiger is talking about what Kush is kind of like an amphetamine that is used in this country to treat things like ADHD, attention deficit disorder, which is a behavior problem that causes children and adults to not be able to focus and to always have racing thoughts. So I think it's important to just get more education on that drug. As Tamara, you were saying that it's causing a lot of deaths in the country, a lot of problems, a lot of havoc in the country. So yes, Alhaji, thank you for doing your research and keeping us aware about that drug. Okay. Yes, I just want to.
It's my time to do my intro.
Well,
we're going to talk
we're not even there yet. You want to welcome some people? Would that welcome my cousin? I missed.
No. I welcome everybody, my man. We got to move
Mr. Falcon, please help me. That welcome my cousin.
But we welcome everybody. We welcome Musa Belete. We welcome Charlene Bronsky. We welcome Mr. Cummings. We welcome Wade Power. We welcome all the Liberty Party. Musa.
Yeah, I won't call the people then who here to do.
I welcome. Hey, wait, you said I'm gonna help you. I'm trying to help you now.
Help me now. Okay, go ahead. Help me.
Help you.
Help me.
Ladies and gentlemen of Spoon Network, we want to say it's good to have you guys in studio. We're good to have you on YouTube, Spoon FM, Spoon TV, Super FM, Super TV, Fabric FM, Fabric TV, Instagram, Spoon Online, Spoon in the Air, Spoon on the Ground. We want to say welcome to everybody. Valkyrie Queen, Davis Samuel, Emmett Jabate, Lucine Kamara. Every day Lucine Kamara forcing with us. Victor Nikan. Victor Nikan is a field crewman. Heron passed away. Baron Brown. Listen, this Baron Brown is not about Baron Brown. Y'all got to understand this. This Baron Brown is not our Baron Brown. Please.
He's a supporter of the CDC. I know him.
I'm asking who he support. I just saying he's not our Baron Brown that comes in studio. A lot of people get it mixed up. Philip Morris, thank you very much for joining us. Jay Woodard Panon. You know, Jay Woodard Panon, That needs from media. V. Marsha Sambulai. How you doing, Barbara Quite? We want to welcome everybody joining us by way of this. The team going fast, so Clarence Benson, Mimi Poki, Philip Emmons, Pamara Sese, J. Benedict Kula Sunday, Linda Nipan. Listen, let me say this again. We want to say thank you for joining us. We got a big show tonight. This is about President George Manawia. This is about Eugene Nagbe. This is about Eugene Fagon. This is about Dr. Richardson. But it would be the CDC and the Unity Party. It would be ANC. It would be Tewon Gonglo Party. We have to set the record straight. So joining us today, E. Remy Gray, one of the two Fadikas. Al Hussein will be here. Maybe our sister Salamatu will join us. Who know? Since they start calling her kind of these arrests, she been off. And we'll be joined also. Welcome Musa Hassan Berete. He's not our guest today, but he's spying on us. George Wisner spying on us. Mo Ali will be coming. The UP chairman, Reverend Tape, he's spying on us. Amos Twe, spying on Amos. Hey, what's the man name? What are all Amos' name? The Samuel Twe. Samuel Twe is spying on us too. Folks, we got some questions for you. Eugene Lane Nangbe went in the studio, he said a lot. Madam VP, my own Oma, man Joel, she said a lot today. Mr. President, Dr. George Manawia, he said a lot when he opened the feed in Clarendon. Amen. And we got our song we're going to be playing today. James, you got a song? Before we give the show back to Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson, how you pronounce your name? Francine Chenoweth Richardson or Francine Chenoweth? How do you pronounce that name? I'm confused. I'm not too good with pronunciation. Can you help me? I want to pronounce your name correctly.
Yeah, my son, I go in there today.
Oh, Fagon. That bad question again?
A bad question you asking.
Thank you.
What make a bad question, Fagon?
My brother is here, man, ready to beat you with catching bell. I don't want to be there. I cannot make any contribution.
I always trust my brother, Fago. Yeah, thank you, Fago.
So yeah, man, beating, and I see as policeman beating.
Fagon.
Thank you, yeah.
Fagon, thank you. I just asked my own question, right? If you got no answer, so you got no answer. We got to hear the woman pronouncing her name. Call her and listen to her answering machine. How she pronounce her name? No Liberians in Liberia will pronounce the name the way the woman pronounce her name.
She don't wife.
Yeah, okay.
No.
She pronounce it as Dr. Francine, she don't wife.
But come on, we want to pronounce it. Listen, folks.
Yeah,
you want to pronounce Dr. Richardson? Folks, you want to pronounce Dr. Richardson's name? Can we just ask her to pronounce it now? Dr. Richardson, how do you pronounce your name? Please.
That call with a show, my people.
Oh. You were calling me today in the Liberian.
I'm going to have from behind me, huh? You see?
No, you know, that means that a Liberian talent need there.
Hey, there you go.
But Dr. Richardson, and the Richardson I can pronounce. How do you listen? The people asking you, standing asking, Teresa Sawi, you ask Dr. Richardson, how do you? Oh, Avicius Kennedy, you stay alive? She says, Avicius, what's the baby? It's good to hear from you, man. Avicius said, leave my daughter alone. But Dr. Richardson, I don't pay attention to Avicius. How do you pronounce your name, Mama? Can you just say it, please?
Fagon knows. Fagon and the Fagons and the Chino.
Now, what happened when the people they came, they said, you know, that they go call Chinaway. What you call Chinaway?
I told you Chinaway. But she said that's not the name.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Now welcome Mo Ali. Mo, I'm about to put intro. Mo, how you pronounce Dr. Richardson's name?
Mo Ali blur.
Mo, the more internet I'm correct. Mo, how do you pronounce Dr. Richardson's name?
Mo Ali from Cape Town, you know. But we from a different part. Came here myself.
You're from Cape Man and you'll be forcing on the show like this?
Yeah,
You're from Cape Man and you kick Mo Ali all of the show 2 days ago? How you gonna treat a person from Cape Man like that?
Don't mind all that thing that we can be to it.
Mo, are you asking?
You can tell me happy birthday. I can tell you happy birthday.
Mo, can you hear us? What kind of man is so? You can't show the Stingray?
That is network. It raining like
yeah, it is raining like bro. But Dr. Richardson wanted
But
to
you play the song
everybody.
Interlude now. You play the song Interlude. Let's get in That's so cool.
Let's get in current. Yeah, man. James. We want a song, James. What kind of picking this up?
A particular man that eat money on
you know, something happened with James. That's why they beat them 4-0. James, play the song,
I
man.
did not support Real Madrid.
It doesn't matter. You are now because you're not playing our song. Play the song.
You did not grow up there?
I did not support Real Madrid.
You did not grow up there? The president said, you did not grow up there. Then the president said, what's that?
That is song so you can get ready for it. Get in the mood now.
No, but Jane, the one with the video from here, I didn't want the new mess, right?
Let me send a video, set, man. I thought, man.
Yeah, man, send a video, Jim. Jim, man. Jim, you can kill us, man.
Our time. Where is Jim? Let me put it in the chat room.
It is in the chat room.
Me send it to Stanton. Then I gotta send it to Good Day by himself. That probably make me fair. When you have to send it to Good Day, be looking for a
Good Day in the chat room too.
I send it to him by himself. You send it to him by himself, you can play it. I send it to him. Man. The original video that they just made 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes.
Who capitalizing like that?
Oh, I got eyes in the sky. I got ears on the ground. No, the video. Show the whole video.
Man, show the whole video. Download the video.
Man, why the Bible people throw away?
Come in the video.
But they tell it all the time for that. That piggy can give me headache, man. Can somebody record him from Europe? Yeah, but don't put Jatu in current. I'm begging you, man. Don't put Jatu in current.
Oh, Felicia called me.
The music not even current.
Felicia, I beg you. I start to my son.
What made the music not correct?
Something wrong with you that I pay you. I play the TV. You want me to take a shot like Brembo?
What made the song not correct? Copyright?
Yeah, the song is copyright.
I said it to you.
Who told you when song called oh, it can't be having copyright?
Jane, don't do that.
The song 5 ago, 5 minutes.
There we are go. There we are go. There we are go. We tire out. There we are go. Go, 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 go. There we are go. Devils are crying, no. Market women are crying, no. There we are go. We tire out, there we are go. Innocent people are dying, yo. The students are staying home. There we are go. We tire out, there we are go. There we are go. There we are go. There we are go. We tire out, there we are go. There we are go. Go, 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 go. There we are go. We tire out, there we are go. There we are go. Go, 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 go. Yeah, there we are go. We tire out, there we are go. Hey, go, go, go. Babylon is bleeding, no. The people are suffering, no. There we are go. We tire, there we are go. We tire with the hunger. We tire eating curry, oh. There we are go. We tire, there we are go. Physicians are crying, oh. Hospitals are empty, oh. There we are go. Retire, oh. There we are go. There we are go. Go, 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 go. Yeah. Retire, oh. There we are go. There we are go. Go, 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 go. Retire, suffering. Suffering, oh. There we are go. There we are go. Retire, living Gary, oh. Retire, suffering. Retire, walking around. There we are go. There we are go. Go, 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 go. There we are go.
I told you we got eyes in the sky.
Folks,
Ears on the
this
ground.
song,
Dr. Richardson. Go ahead,
Thank
James.
you,
Finish up.
Jeremy McPia.
this
Jeremy,
song,
thank you.
I should
Papa.
go ahead.
Go ahead, James.
This song was produced by a Liberian gospel musician residing in Nigeria, Cape Prince.
All right, so we have no ownership to this song. We want to be very fair.
Yeah, there's no
we will-
copyright. I can pay song, no
the-
copyright.
we will go ahead and play every party song once they send it to us. I don't know this gentleman, but it is interesting to note tonight that because of this song, we will leave all other conversation and focus our attention to the importance of this song, the message of this song. It is very important. If you want to attack ANC, you can go ahead. You want to attack CDC, you can go. I mean, UP, you can go ahead. I'm not here to attack either or. Folks out there can do what they do best by attacking me, and it's okay. But I want to talk about the Liberian people tonight. I want to talk about the suffering of the Liberian folks. And I want us to be very, very serious. We'll play this song again. We have surrounded ourselves to anything. The Bible says neither death, nor life, neither principality or power beyond our control can stop us. And instead of saying can stop us from proclaiming the message of Christ, I would say can stop us from speaking truth to power when it comes to Liberia. And I want to say, every one of you, you are welcome to join the conversation tonight as we hold the government feet to the fire. We saw Madam Joelle Howard Taylor today, some of the CDC representatives making the case. It's a fair game. We will play clips of those videos as well. But tonight, we will ask you, the Liberian people, should George Weah go or should he stay? We will ask you, the Liberian people, what are you ANC? Listen, there will come a time we'll talk about Mr. Cummings or Joseph Yeman Boaka. But tonight, I'm going to ask you, Liberians, should George Manneh Weah, President Weah, Dr. Weah, should he be re-elected? Should he go? Is your life better today than 6 years ago? You can insult. You can say what you want to say. But let's talk about Liberia. Today, are you better off today than 6 years ago? Your children, are they better off today than 6 years ago? Their education, the hospital, the road you walk on, the little schools in your community, the food you eat, the better boy, the cassava, the young 11 years old and 10 years old, do you receive salary and the salary cover your expenses for your children? Your life, is it better off today? So the question remains, should George Manneh Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia, be re-elected October 10? You that are going to vote, you that listen to us tonight by way of the radio, you that living the life on a candle, you that pay for your LDC and there is no LDC to come, you that paying for water but you cannot have a clean drinking water, you that send your 10, 11, 12 years old to the well to go draw water from the well, and God forbid someone then just go into that way. You, that your man's sick and the hospital holding them on a hostage. You, my fellow Liberian, should President George Manneh Weah go, or should he stay? Let's play the song one more time, and Dr. Richardson would do what she always does. She will murder.
Go, we are go, go, we are go, go, we are go, we tire, go, we are go. Go, we are go. Amen. Several are crying, no. Market women are crying, no. Go, we are go. We tire, go, we are go. Innocent people are dying, yo. The students are staying home. Go, we are go. We tire, go, we are go. Go, we are go. Go, we are go. Go, we are go. We tire, go, we are go. Go, we are go. The people are suffering, no. So we are go, we tire, so we are go. We tire with the hunger.
Dr. Richardson, we wait for you to lead and we will follow.
Okay, so at this time, we just ask everyone to give their 2 minutes thoughts on the song and the idea of George Weah leaving the country because he's not serving the Liberian people well, economically, physically, socially, in all capacities. So I'm going to start with Mr. Fagon, who came in first, and then you, Stanton, came in second, Fariga, and then, of course, Mo Ali. So let's proceed that way. Fagon?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I'm thankful that you acknowledge the fact that I came in first, and Mr. Hajako. Okay, forget this time.
You boss again? Tell me. Change your time.
I'm standing
up.
I
want to help her. I want to help her. She said she wants peace. She wants problem. Anyways, since I have a time on, good evening to the peace-loving people of Liberia. Let me say to you that I think that George Weah should leave. I was one of those in the forefront of this battle to usher in the era of change. And yes, we brought George Weah to town, like you dress the devil and bring him to town. We thought the devil would have performed for the Liberian people to be happy. Instead, the devil started burning down homes, harming little children, killing innocent people, drug infusing our young people, building his own homes, houses, and businesses. And we can go on and on and on. Today, we sit in a country that is no longer respected by our members in the International Committee of Nations, if you like. And if you look today, their 3-day free calls have been canceled. Their salaries have been cut from $150 to $45. They live below the minimum wage. And most of their relatives and friends are being killed, extrajudicial killings, so to speak. Many of their children go to school, and when they go to school, they get missing, or they come back drunk or drugged. And I say, at the end of the day, we look at our country today, we ask ourselves, is bag arrest still $13? No, it's $22. Is gasoline still $3.50? No, it's $5.20. Are you making $150 a month? No, I'm making $45. My fellow citizens, no one hates another person, but they hate what the person does to them. And because my time is up, our real name is Ginoe.
Dr. Richardson, I know you're keeping the time, but can you do it 3 minutes each? Because this is powerful today. Let's go another minute, please. I'm asking you.
I can do that. Go ahead, Mr. Falcon. You got 1 more minute to go.
Before you put a minute there, Timbo, I need the current corn. He dark in the darkness.
That's someone in there. That's someone in there.
No, so I send a message in the private chat. Is really very evident and lightning striking, thunder rolling very evident. So the entire current going off. So
yeah, but it's good to still have you on.
Yeah,
we're saying you want to need lights that can be used with the battery, with the charger.
Mm-hmm.
We got something I need for you, my brother. I forget it.
Yeah, thank you for the courage, Mwali.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna put your 1 minute back on.
Yes, do it later on while I'm talking. But anyways, let me conclude by saying to the Liberian people, some of the things you see we're bringing to light is that the Liberian people voted for change. So let's ask the question, have we gotten change? No, we've been shortchanged. And here is how it happened. If we said during Madam Sirleaf's time, 2 people, Michael Allison and Harry Greaves, died mysteriously, let's look at the change we voted for. How many persons died mysteriously under President Weah? 10 times more than Ellen did in her entire 12 years. How much are we paying now for basic goods and services? 10 times more than Madam Sirleaf. We will continue during the program. I will continue to highlight some of the things, but I just want you to think, can we endure 6 more years? Or do we stop it now and rescue the country? I beg to say we need to rescue the country and we must do it now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Falcon. I'm going to go now to Stanton. Your 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. And again, I will appeal to all my fellow panelists. Please don't give me any reason to make me laugh tonight, because it's very, very important that we all should have some very serious discussion. Liberians, home and abroad, depend on our conversation tonight. I know I have 3 minutes, or a little under 3 minutes now. The first mistake from this president, 2018, 100 million newly printed central bank notes went in thin air. 100 million, 2018, just when George Manawea came into power. Say what you want to say. The problem started the day this government put foot. Up to now, this government cannot give an account of the 25 million United States dollars, the 64 billion printed amount, the one that sent up to a called map of exercise. If you want to find it, go to Ivory Coast. It is there. Up to today, friends that we have in the government They may insult us. They may say what they want to say because we have taken another path, the path to fight for the Liberian people. It is important that you answer the question, should George Weah go? Which one of the deaths under this administration the government have answered for? The government have given a comprehensive report on. Which one of the deaths? Most recent, former Chief Justice Gloria Muson-Scott's daughter. No tail, no head, none. The civil servant not getting paid 4 months. They stay begging for bread. In your own country, you have now become a spectator, or you're not even on the field no more. Under this administration, like you see Mo Ali today, the country remains under total darkness. Darkness in the healthcare system, darkness in our education, darkness in infrastructure, darkness that the children must sell $1 shekel bread and candy and toffee to live. Darkness where there is no plan. Should George Manneh Weah stay or should he go? The President of the Republic of Liberia, have he failed on his promises? So the conversation tonight, folks, you want to talk about Cummings? Come back another time. But tonight, it will be on this government. You want to talk about Joseph Yima Boakai? Come back another time. But tonight, we're going to checkmate this government because the Liberian people need to know, and they need to know now. Should President Weah stay or should he go? Thank you, Dr. Richardson.
I guess that's me. Well, folks,
Dr. Richardson, you are muted.
Sorry, bodyguard, it's you.
Yeah, so just to piggyback from where Stanton stopped, I saw that song this morning. It was so inspiring. I had to do a podcast, and then I saw that I don't know what to make of it that they had in the legislature today. I got a confirmed report from Liberia that those people that were in the legislature were actually bossed or trucked sedition that they brought in that place to put up the spectacle they had today called endorsement. And the guys are shameless, not only heartless, but they are shameless. But before I waste my time, I want to say something that George Weah in 2018, remember that big program they had in Nima County, and they unveiled something called the PAPD, which is the flagship of this whole Weah administration. It have 5 pillars: power to the people, economy and job, sustaining the peace, human capital development, and infrastructure and road. 5 pillars. The wasted taxpayer money went to Ganta or somewhere in Nima there, and they put together this piece of trash. And I will the rest of my time to go over what George Weah promised the Liberian people and where we are today. And I listened to Madam Joa Howard Taylor that came on the station and said, people say me are too big to lie. But honestly, in as much as you say all that thing, yes, you are too big to lie. And you did lie. And it's shameful. Power to the people, pillar 1. He said the pillar is the pillar aims to enhance government and promote this decentralization by empowering local communities, improving citizen participation in decision-making process. It seeks to strengthen the capacity of local government structure and promote transparency and accountability. 1. 2, economic and job. The second pillar aims to revitalize the Liberian economy and promote sustainable economic growth. It focuses on attracting investment, foreign direct investment, promote agriculture and agro businesses. How many minutes?
21 seconds.
21 seconds. Well, I've already listed it down. in the last 5 years, George Weah has actually failed on everything. In fact, instead of removing the people from poverty, he has plunged. They said they were going to remove 1 million people out of poverty. In 5 years, they have put over 1 million people in poverty. I'll leave it at that just to respect the time, hopefully to explain on it later on in the program.
Thank you, Fight Guy. We are now going to turn our attention to Mo Ali. Mo Ali, even though we can't see, but hopefully we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, thank you from the darkest part of Painesville. I will start off with this. I believe that George Weah should go for several reasons. One is when you have a government of people who do nothing but lie to the Liberian people with the thought that people will buy their usual lies. It's pathetic. You took over a government where civil servants were being paid on time and in time, before time. Even if they were making $100, they were paid before time. This time, civil servants are not even paid on time, despite the fact that they have drastically reduced their salaries. You took over a government where at least the janitor was making $100. The other day, we saw Ministry of Information employees protesting. Some are making $40 that they cannot get.
And Transport Ministry.
Exactly. Transport Ministry, they were on strike for a very long time. You took over a system where we were trying to decentralize. There were these county centers all over the country almost, where people were beginning to get driver lessons, birth certificates, marriage certificates. People did not have to come down to Monrovia. Everything have shut down. There's nothing going on again. You took over the country when we were constructing the community. The community college in Bonn. Vice President Joel Howard Taylor, I remember when we were at the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs, she went there and begged Double Jalak for us to draft the project, to do the project proposal for that Gove High School, Bonn Community College. We sat down, she was there with George Mulba and all of them. We did the proposal. Since then, that was around 2012. They still constructing it, it can get completed. And thank you.
Yes, sir. Remy Gray, your turn.
Oh, good day, panelists, fellow panelists. Thank you so much. 2 times Liberians can make songs. Are the 2 times they're ready to make bad decisions. Whether it's you kill my ma, you kill my pa, I will vote for you. Or whether you know book, you not know book, I will vote for you. When they make that first bad decision, then they'll make another song to underwrite the bad decision. And they're getting ready again to make another bad decision. This song by George Weah, or for George Weah, saddens me. It saddens me because George Weah is not at fault. Our voters are at fault. They vote with their sentiments. They don't vote with their future at stake. They always make decisions out of those songs based on emotion. When I look at the people suffering, I don't see any tribe written on their faces, on their body. Rather, I see Liberians as suffering. When we're ready to make another bad decision, we invent tribe. But when the struggle comes, it comes for all. This is why we must begin to make choices not with our sentiment, but rather with our mind and brains that God has given us to be able to infuse our future in it and look forward. Don't come back here a few years later singing songs for a bad decision you've made. When I look, I see people are poised again to make another ugly decision, either because this other guy is not in my tribe, this other guy is this or that, and what have you. Every time you make a bad decision, we'll wait for you to make the song to override that bad decision. What I would urge Liberians to do, we cannot be coming here every 6 or so years to make bad songs, either to bring new person in or make bad song. That same new person, we ask them out. What I will ask us to do is to go back and reflect whether the person that will develop our country, irrespective of their tribe, when the country is developed, whether they will ask you out because you're not of a certain tribe, or whether we'll all enjoy, like how Kagame built Rwanda, and Rwandese are enjoying their country, respective of tribe. If we can put away this tribal thing and make a decision not based on our sentiments, we will have a beautiful country that we all can enjoy, and our children will enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Gray. I think I'm going to go ahead and use my 3 minutes to speak to the Liberian people. You know, when I look at Liberia and think about how much money that the international community gave us, or how much money that is in our budget for Liberians, I don't see it trickling down to them. You know, this was established when the American government asked about the $60 million that they gave the Liberian people for healthcare and education. He didn't see it, and I don't see it when I visit Liberia. At the end of the day, we find that our children are suffering. Our mothers are the ones who get the brunt, who suffer the most of bad leadership, bad government, of this government. This is why he must go, because he's not female friendly at all, even though he calls himself the chief feminist or chief infeminist. When you are, when you do have the interest of children and women, you won't have the children selling in the streets as we see them. You won't have the rate of sexual violence so high in Liberia as we know it. We won't have our producers and news journalists come in here and tell us that children are being abandoned by Riverside, or they've been, you know, their necks, they've been formed with their body parts and neck taken from them. So this tells me that we have incompetency in our government, or either the people eating our money. $150 million they put in a budget saying that the president can use. I can't get over this thing here. The president can use it as his discretion. And when you look underneath it, it said, oh, he's using it for street lights. He's using it to pay for LEC. How does that trickle down to Mamasa, you know, Parkoli, all of the people them that I see when I go to Liberia? How does this 100, when the president said I did street lights, when you go back the next day, you can't find the street lights. What is going on? And I will end by saying the American government asks, is this the best Liberia can offer? No, it's not. What is happening in our country is certain people are enjoying, and then they're giving us the crumbs. Like they will say, oh, we develop parks. We are developing parks. Or, oh, we're building this. We build road. But when you think about the amount of money that they are taking for themselves to please themselves, to gratify themselves, versus the money that they are using to develop our country, it is not equal. It is not equal at all. So this is why Liberians have to think wisely. They have to participate in this process. They have to vote for someone when it comes October 10th who can improve our country. We tired of seeing our country the way it is as the people in Liberia they experience that life. They tire themselves. So thank you. We're going to move on to our next section of the show. I believe that we're going to have James Goodday play the tape of what happened at.
God, thank you, Mama. Please, if you allow, can we do another round on this? Because we got a lot to talk about this. I know that we're focused on Madam Joel Taylor and the Akaris great thing, but something about this going down to 2017, George, we are inauguration. We got to go into deep on this one, please. Let's do another round of it. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, go ahead. Well, no, start with Fagon. Fagon, you go ahead.
Well, my fellow Liberians, it's like Joel Howell tried to insinuate today that Joseph Boakai was from Sierra Leone. I posted a picture that in my closing will be shown to you as she goes down to the feet of this man in her traditional posture. You know, I sit here and I wonder, like a friend of mine shared with me, President George Weah offered to protect Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her kids. But I wonder whether he's protecting our kids and our parents. He somehow went on to grade her 80%. I wonder what she will grade him now for the 6 years. Listen and listen carefully. Nobody goes into the future hoping to make a mistake. Yes, you Liberian people have sang the song, "You killed my ma, you killed my pa, I will vote for you." Your frustration was well noted because you suffered the pain. When the Book people came and robbed you in daylight, you said, "You know Book, you don't know Book, we will vote for you." My friends, when you are born, you are a baby. You learn how to crawl, then you learn how to walk. But eventually you get it right and you become an adult. You get old and you die. Never give up with your songs, because at the end of the day, no condition is permanent. We are human beings and we're not saints. We will always make mistakes, but our ability to correct those mistakes makes us who we are, better people. If President Sirleaf could carry this man for 12 years, where she could have died in the plane crash or in a presidential motorcade crash, he would have been our president. She refused to let him be. And today the man she gave us messed up. Why was she willing for him to replace her for 12 years? But even up to today, she's not willing for him to carry on. It is that question that leads many of us to dig deeper. And as we dig deeper, we are finding out a lot of things. An example will be, and I hope not to offend my fellow panelists, as I dug deeper, and I am digging deeper, I get to find out. But for many, many years, I repeat, Robert Sirleaf was the roommate to my friend Alexander Cummings. These are disclosures we need. If you have two children on Cotterton University, as it was in the case of Robert Sirleaf and Cummings, and both of them were roommates, ultimately by our tradition and our culture, when you carry food, you will carry it for both of them. It's not bad for her to want them to be people and president. But the question lingers with me. Why does she not want her principal deputy to succeed her? My fellow Liberians, the time has come. If he was there for 12 years, he can be there for the next 6 more years to make it as it was when it was better. I respectfully submit.
Okay, Stanton, it's your turn. I just want to warn the panelists here that we should stick to the agenda for the day, as opposed to talking about other candidates without having facts to support what we say. If you're going to say something, make sure that we have.
But Madam, a lot of people challenge you. That they put one room there, then what else? I interviewed 10 different persons.
I'm going to go on to Mr. Falcon. We're going to move on. Okay, maybe on your show.
You can happy you with Stanton again.
Okay, Stanton, it's your turn, please.
I know your relationship wasn't going to last, so it's okay. I know it was a smokescreen relationship. I want to say this to folks. as I use my 3 minutes, and I begging James Goodday to put up some information. Let's just wait if he can do so. But I will start. This is from the Daily Observer. As you go through the different newspapers in the country, you come to understand what President George Manneh Weah took over. They did an outline about the failure of this President George Manneh Weah. About the failure. They say as President Weah prepares to go to the poll 2023 October 10, folks have been analyzing his scorecard and asking whether he deserves another 6 years in office. But what is clear is that this time around, his re-election campaign has not been greeted with the same level of enthusiasm. While the change of fortunes, the answer seems to lie that most of the things Liberians complained about in 2018 are still unresolved. And Liberians, what are those things that people are complaining about? Unemployment, unemployment, poverty that you have never seen before, the economy disempowerment. Only one people enjoy under this president. So they say that since President Weah came into power, Liberian unemployment rate has increased. If that's a story, tell us something different. The unemployment rate have increased. For you to get a job, you can't. Even when you get a job, you can't take pay. The question is, should President Dr. George Manneh Weah, should he stay or should he go? And Samuel Tway can say anything you want to say. But you know Samuel Tway. You can talk to Samuel Tway. 5.2 million people. Dr. Richardson, you confuse me with that time. 5.2 million people are spectators in their own country. They are suffering. They're suffering the poverty. They say extreme poverty. Children going to bed with no food. This is during his inauguration. Listen to this. President Weah promised to change the structure of the economy through huge investment in agriculture. You in Liberia, have the president invested in agriculture? Infrastructure. Look at RIA Road. Then we'll talk about the money per kilowatt. And maybe Mo Aline can talk about that. Human capital, technology. He also promised to tackle corruption. But listen to the answer. However, he has failed in living up to those promises. President George Manneh Weah have failed in living up to those promises. The road, they are in the worst condition. RIA is bad. You know what the president said when he went to dedicate the sport park in Clarita? Well, I beg you, just a few seconds. The president said they play and I can count once a while. We play that clip. He said it. He doesn't care about our Rabat International Airport. But he talked about building parks. Liberians, today we have to have that conversation. We shouldn't shy away from the conversation. No. Today we should have the conversation because the president have accomplished zero. So Liberian people, should he be re-elected? I rest because the 3 minutes with Dr. Richardson can go like 3 seconds. Yeah, bye.
Thank you. I'm going to now move to Fadiga. Fadiga, your turn, please.
I ain't saying smart at 2 minutes.
At 2 minutes you gave me, man.
Y'all going with 2 minutes on my tongue.
No, 3 minutes. 3 minutes, Fadiga. I'm starting now.
All right, good. Man, where do we start from? Stanton said it all. Look, it is no secret. First, I want to piggyback on something my good friend Remy said about Liberian making bad decisions. It's disheartening, and I think it's disingenuous for us to believe that if it is not our guy, if it is not us, then it's a bad decision. The decision that will be made in 2023 is a decision that the people have carefully thought on. They will be deciding on a man that has been there for generations. Today in my podcast, I really wish we could graduate, given the enormity of the challenges that we have. I wish we could graduate from this stuff. But I know the only leg that the ANC has to stand on is to break Ambassador break our leg. That's the only way they will get something. And that will not going to happen because this man is a giant. And in order to break a giant, even if you break one leg, more legs just to stand up. But I don't think the Liberian people are about to make another bad decision. What happened here is we have a group of people that are fed up. They are fed up with the lies. They are fed up with the charade, the smoke screen, the brainwashing and misinformation. And look, these guys are going around the country carrying out vain projects, things that got nothing to do with anything, to say, oh, you see what? The first time we did this since 1847. And the reason government, I keep explaining, the reason people carry on vain project is the easy way to steal money from government. And what those vain projects do is that they do not commensurate the amount of money that were put in there. So you build a park. You say we spend 10 million for the park. They spend 30 million, they eat 4 million. You say we build road. Everything gets half. That is how corrupt government operate. There is no clear plan. There is no risk assessment. There is no thought put in place. They just want to show quantify success, scatter it all over enough so that they can confuse the people. Build 4 horses on the main road and say we'll spend 5 million for it. Well, you cannot build horses for everybody in the country. And I said it today. I said the responsibility of government, it is not to confer happiness on every citizen. If that was the case in America, everybody would be happy. We won't have people on the street. We won't have people toting street sign, all those things. The reason why the role of government is to ensure that we have a level playing field, that everybody that can work hard, do the right thing, will be able to strive and achieve the full potential. But what we are seeing, a bunch of it's a charade, group of people that have lied, cheat, and they will deceive us. It's time for them to go. I submit.
We'll go on to Mwadi. Mwadi, your turn, please.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to take this time to talk a little bit about former First Lady and now Vice President Joel Howard Taylor. You know, talking about JMB is this and that. But Joel Howard Taylor was First Lady and supported her husband to criminalize, bastardize, and pauperize the people of Liberia. She was First Lady when babies were turned into killing machines and robbed us of our decent future. She said nothing about it. She was First Lady when her husband declared us, including me when we were at the UL, as dissident collaborators and declared us as rebel people hate in this country, some ran away. She said nothing. She supported her husband, Charles Taylor. She was First Lady when civil servants went 38 months without getting $20 as salary. She supported her husband for that. She was First Lady when children were conscripted into being child soldiers. She said nothing about that. As senator, she proposed no bill for women empowerment. As vice president of this country, Joel Howard Taylor cannot boast of any real women empowerment program that she has initiated. But guess what? She can go on to talk about former Vice President Joseph Boakai. Now let's come to some of the reasons why this government should go, why George Weah should go. There are plethora of promises made at the inception of this government. Number one, we saw the skin 419 Eton and Igbo Mad loan that should have brought almost $1 billion. Fiasco. Hassan Fadiga and his brother Hussein Fadiga had to go dig behind in Hong Kong and Singapore and knew that they were bringing lies. This president, we have promised coastal highway from Cape Mount to Cape Palmas. They didn't even break ground for it. They promised us they were going to build a Bali Island. Nothing happened. In fact, that was a charade. He went there crying and breaking ground. Since that time, nothing else happened. He told us they were going to be 6,000 Nigerian teachers to help us, to beef up our teaching system. One Nigerian teacher saying arrived here. They told us they were going to bring 40 Israeli companies to create employment for our people here. That one too, that was lie. They went one day, celebrated, spent thousands of dollars, and created cake. They said our airplane. It was just on dancing ground cake for them to eat. But besides that, this president has turned his dilapidated 9th Street house into a mansion. He lives there, goes to work to Jamaica Lodge. Nothing is happening. Everything is reversing. Thank you. We'll keep talking until the time for me.
Yes. Remy Gray, your turn, please.
Liberians, whether it's in the past or whether it's now, it is your decision that we're discussing that you've made in the past and will make in the future. You know, there's a say that you don't have control of your past, but you can control your future. Your future is where the best of you resides. So I want you to think again that if all the past judgments you've made, those judgments have come back to haunt you, think before you make decision going forward. You know, nobody has presidential skill and fortitude. Nobody can tell you I have presidential experience, but somebody who has served the presidency. Regardless whether you are number 2, whether you are number 3, whether you're a fixer, rescuer, whatever name they want to call you, Liberians, only your record can demonstrate what you're capable of doing. Nobody should promise you what they've never done in their life. Nobody can promise you what they don't have. They should have it and promise you. Go back and look at the records of individuals who are coming to you for the presidency. Judge them by what they've done in their past. You know, to tell somebody that they're not corrupt or to brag that somebody has integrity here and there, it's fine. Those are all good characteristics that you can depend on someone. But somebody in their age must be able to tell you, this was what I was able to accomplish in my past, confidence that were reposed in me. Let them show us. There are individuals whose past we can readily lay our hands on. You know what Liberia needs, my people, is not just another individual. It's not a crewman. It's not a Grable man. It's not somebody, a Congo man. We need somebody who can manage our asset, our resources effectively so that we all can enjoy, not based on their time, based on the skill they've done in the past that they bring to that job to manage your resources. You know why Rwanda, Ivory Coast, Ghana are doing so well? It's not because Ghana has a Popo man or they have a Fanti man. It's because they have good asset managers, people who can look at 1 cent and turn it into 1 million. You should go back and look at those who are coming to you for power. See what they've managed. Their little resources. Look at their lifestyle. You'll be able to determine who has the ability to effectively turn 5 cents into 5 million. And we'll ask you, Liberians, think before you vote. Don't vote with your emotion. Thank you.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to put the time on to keep track of my comments here tonight. I want to focus my attention on sexual and gender-based violence in Liberia and how it impacts our society. And it relates to our leadership. Someone who can pass law or at least address the backlog of cases in our Justice Department will suggest to me that they are really, really interested in the success, livelihood, and psychological welfare of women. Many times we know that in our society, as I said to you before, when a man is unhappy on his job, because we know Liberia, a lot of men are employed, or at least they have something to do. When they are not getting, enough, whether it's money, satisfaction on the job, or they're not being treated well, when they come home, they bring that to the woman and to the children. And so then the women then suffers. So the women suffer, excuse me. So I am actually suggesting that to measure the success of our current leader is to see what he has done for women in the country. And you can see that by knowing the laws that he's passed. What has he done for women in the country? We see that since he took place, he's been parading around sometimes, when there are rape incidents. I've seen him march. But after the marching, what happens? What laws have he sort of proffered and implemented? Sometimes going in the Senate and just dancing around, or sending laws to the legislature and just dancing around, it's not enough. You have to actually be intentional about it. What billboards has he sponsored in our country to protect women? We know that women make up at least 50% of the population. And so you women, you need to ask yourself, what can I contribute to the country, or who can I select to make Liberia a place that women can thrive? Places like the Rwanda, Sweden, women are thriving. They are part of the lawmaking body of their country. Someone who considers himself feminist in chief would be at least proffering or preparing the road or the pathway for women to be in leadership position. And we have not seen that yet. And I'm not just talking about the traditional role that women play sometimes, Ministry of Gender. I'm talking about women being in roles that are just as impactful for our society. We had a female finance minister before. Those are the roles that I'm speaking about. And I want you to see the difference in Rwanda society when we have at least maybe close to 40-50% of women that are in the parliament. We've seen a development that is occurring in that society. So I want to urge our lawmaker, our president, to attend to the issues relating to women in the country. Then I will know definitely how successful you are in your competency and in your ability to lead our country. At this point, I'm not convinced, and many are not convinced. Many women in the country they are not convinced that you're in the best interest of their causes. So I'm going to stop here because I know my time is up, and then we're going to move to you, Fagon.
Before you start my time on the same topic, because we're finished with the round that Central asked for now. What's the next one we're going to?
I wanted to go to listen to that videotape. I think I had.
Don't call my time and play a video then for me to talk. He said, no, if you need talking, I agree. So you play a video first so I can talk. The sitting the other poor won't talk.
Okay. James, if you're listening to me, I think we talked about you segmenting the videotape. Can you please go ahead and just play the videotape? That's something that Mo Ali made reference to here today. And my question to you actually is the videotape of the CDC partisans celebrating their leaders, I guess, in the hallways, the corridor of power today. James, can you, and I want to hear your reactions. What do you think? What are your thoughts about having that political party?
90% of the people in that building don't work there. They don't work in that capacity. Look, I'm telling you, it's like all the other people just brought the people from the district and follow. In fact, when the video started, you will see the other guys say, give me the microphone. Give me the microphone, man.
Even look how they were dressed. They were looking at real partisan.
So far, you using your time to talk now?
Okay, play a video, man. Look, I recognize those people, especially the top picking in the white shirt. The top picking is
I'm going to try your time now, Mr. Fagon.
No, ask the question.
Okay, so I'll let you explain to us what is happening, and I won't start your time. But I want us to talk about the impact of having political rallies in the corridor of power in the state house. You can agree with it or you can disagree with it, but let's inform our Liberian people. Does it have any drawback, or is it completely beneficial to our democracy?
My dear, if it is the staffers like yesterday, you will see comportment. You will see the way they would carry themselves, the way they were dressed. You saw it yesterday, the way they're seated. But the same thing Gray did on the campus of the university, taking the CDC Youth League, and I recognize all of them because every month they got to come to our houses. I recognize them because I know them. I know the tall guy in the white shirt you're looking at over there very well. They wear their backpacks with their berets. But again, it is the last time they're doing such nonsense. The Liberian people will not allow them. The actual staffers over there were less than 10 to 15%. But they brought the people from the various districts, they buzzed them in, and they think they can show a force. No, that's your partisans. They are not legislative staffers to begin with. Look, let me say this. I don't think it is wrong for people in their workplace to express their political opinions. It is not wrong for them if you use the facility to harm someone or to cause a problem wrongfully, fine. But to say, welcome back, the legislature is a separate branch of government. It's that branch of government that is for the people, that represents the people. So it is a people-centered institution. What is annoying now is that the likes of Gray will take the Youth League there to demonstrate a show of force. Remember, if you have 21 political parties and the CDC is only one, and they claim they got 6, that's 7. So there are 14 parties against them. And if you look, there are 4 candidates against President Weah. So President Weah is just a one person. The CDC cannot go anywhere. They cannot do anything. Right now, give them what you may. 80% of the people are against them. They will either be for Kumis, Gonglo, Moniba, or JMB. So can the CDC win the opposition? No. Don't mind all the fighting we're doing. At the end of the day, the opposition will be opposition. And the supposition or imposition will be supposition and imposition. And guess what's going to happen? They will be defeated because it's 80% to 20%. Let me close by saying, Liberians are not ignorant. Liberians are smart people. Gray only won when the president buzzed in for Jokbeta Maki. He will not win again. I guarantee you that. And many of them will be thrown out as they should be. You are muted. I will take your 30 seconds.
Yes.
Every day we must tell you are muted. When someone's speaking, everybody, they mute everybody. So when that person finishes, try to unmute yourself. That's what Rich is saying.
Stanton Waterspoon, you please respond to the
question. That's my time?
Yes, it's your turn.
Yeah.
That he muted you. I saw you.
You know what? This is very serious, Mo Ali. Fadika. I will not sit on this show and attack any member of the opposition moving forward. I will ask questions that need to be answered. The rest of them can say what they want to say about me. That's okay. Opposition in position can attack me. That's okay. But I would do everything by God's grace to fight for the Liberian people. New friends, old friends can attack me. That's okay. When I speak because I have something in my possession that when I unleash, the Liberian people will hear it. Let's stop faking. Let's be serious for once. You know you sit in your corner sedition and you worry about President Weah re-election. All the agents President Weah have up there pretending to be opposition, but at night they're making phone calls to the president. You know yourself. You know yourself. The Liberian people are dying. And you can't talk tabata about me or about the network. What have this president done? Because he gave you special contract? You earning money some way, somehow? So you care less about the Liberian people? Let's have that conversation. My fellow Liberians, should President Weah stay or should he go? Sit down tonight and ask yourself, 6 more years of this madness, that Samuel Tuah will take all the money of the country and go Ivory Coast and build his homes, many, many homes, come to America and buy homes, many, many homes. And you sit down to look for roasted cassava. That the minister, Samura Wanokori, with the contract from LEC, he said it on the show, as deputy finance minister, and award himself those contracts. And you sit there backing him and looking for bread. You think that friendship? 6 more years, some of you will be dead and gone. 6 more years, your children will be uneducated. 6 more years, JFK will be a deaf funeral home zone. 6 more years, you will never be, there will be nowhere for you to come from Royal International Airport to EAW Junction. Everything that Vlad, you are not getting paid. The 150 after harmonization, you can get it. I'm not advocating for JMB. Run with the JMB story. Run with the Comey story. Be my guest. Dr. Richardson, I beg for a minute, please. This is very important. I don't want folks sitting down here and say, but what's wrong with this guy? Enough is enough. The American government put your people on sanction. The American government brought you to America and gave you the warning. The American government saying you guys are doing the worst in the history of Liberia. Some of you are on Samuel Tuah payroll. So you're happy because he gave you 500 a month, 1,000 a year, 2,000 there. The best government. Who taught you? Have you asked yourself, the hospital in Buffalo, is it operating? Have you asked yourself how many people died because there is no oxygen in the oxygen machine? Have you asked yourself how many people died because there is no common paracetamol? When the ministers then getting the drugs from the hospital and putting it in their own pharmacy? Have you asked yourself, should President George Manneh Weah be re-elected? Where his ministers and deputy ministers and assistant ministers traveling and enjoying themselves? Where are we, my fellow Liberians? I will yield, I will pause, and we will have this conversation moving forward. Above all, Liberia first. Thank you, Dr. Richardson.
Thank you. We're going to move on to you, Fadiga.
Well, since tonight, I like the direction that we are taking now. We are turning our attention to the biggest elephant in the room, which is this government. This government that came. Look, it's easy to say put me there.
Oh, Fadiga, hold on. Is that a ghost? Minister Woolsey is on the show.
Get it out of
ghost. Sametua we ready na get you that money.
I told you something will make you share. Easy.
Sametua we ready na get you that money. What?
I will get the money.
Welcome,
okay, Wazi, good to have you here. Welcome. So we'll just let Fariga continue, and then we'll go in our same order with Fariga. I mean, I'm coming in last. Go ahead, Fariga.
So as I was saying, I'm glad that we are slowly pivoting to the main cream of the crop here, which is this administration. Honestly, I like that this thing is happening. I like George Weah had to have happened for us to actually know what we want. For many, many years, George Weah stood in the way of any viable candidate. He told the Liberian people, put me there, I will do it. Look, politics is like religion. None of us are seeing God. We just believe, have that faith. Politicians are like that too. Nobody know who will be the best president. We can look at one or two things from the past and say, yeah, the president you think they can be. But until you can show that you have done something or have some history, then you cannot even preach that anymore. And for too long, the CDC criticized the Sirleaf administration. They told Robert Sirleaf were corrupt. They point fingers. They told Castell. They burned tires. They did all kinds of things in Liberia. And then the Liberian people gave them an opportunity to show them what they can do. Even Ellen worst years, even the UP worst years cannot be compared to George Weah's best years. We don't even know which year was the best year because they came in stealing. They came in bulldozing their homes and building mini cities. They came in to enrich themselves. You see how bad it is? I will borrow something from Mr. Cummings. He said, leaders eat last. If that's a true statement, these leaders came and ate first, and they are not even stopping. They are eating and licking until they want to lick beyond the air bowl. It is sad. It is sad. There is a Bible quote, and Dr. Miles Monroe always said, he said, woe unto the nation where the slave become the master. It didn't mean that the slaves don't have opportunity. But most time, people that look like you, that come from the same place, sometimes they turn up being your worst enemy. Look where the guys came from Gibraltar, from the slums. Oh, they made to my town. I just thought,
funny guy.
My man, we done. We move. You can do that crying later, my man.
Okay.
You can do that crying later. And they give you extra time. They give you extra time. They will give extra time.
They didn't just land. Please land.
Look at it, chief. Back on when I back 3 different times.
Look at 3, 4 different times. You know, so what I'm going to say is, yeah, y'all be fair to me now. I had a boy come in here, so you gotta be fair to me. Yeah, but what I was saying is that these guys have proven, look, though we cannot preach that narrative anymore. That narrative that I will bring the pro-poor agenda. We saw that it took 1 million people from at least minimum wage and plunged them into abject poverty. So, I mean, they cannot make that narrative. The narrative is clear. Going up to October, you have a decision to make. And that decision will be a reality for the next 6 years.
Well, Ali.
Thank you. So when President Weah and his CDC campaigned in 2017, they campaigned on the basis of giving the Liberian people hope. Whether that slogan was read the other way around, change for hope or hope for change, it just meant that when we had change, there was going to be hope that something good was going to happen for Liberia. But you know, we who were on the other end, we saw from the very beginning the way they proceeded with governance. There were no hope. There was no hope that anything good was going to happen. Even to the point where some of our colleagues decided to say, you know what? Let's give them some time, up to a year, to see what they will do. President Weah gave us talking points President Weah and his government gave us talking point within the first 3 months, to the extent that even the smartest people who wanted to defend were finding it extremely difficult to defend. There was no way anybody would have defended the construction of 42 housing or condominium of housing units within 3 months of your government when you did not have money. There is no way that anybody can defend the kind of structures that my friend Samura Wolokoli is putting up. 4 of them, and I've learned that he has more somewhere else on the old road. There is no way anybody can defend my friend Koji purchasing a house in Cinco on 19th Street for more than $250,000 when he did not even have the first 5 cents in his bank account. There is no way anyone can defend the president allotting more than $12 million to NSA when civil servants are not taking pay. There's no way anybody can defend that. There is no way anyone can defend you taking people's salary from $600 to $100 and they can't get it on time. That's why somebody told me the other day, budget was between 500 to 600 million. Civil servants were getting good salaries and they were getting it on time. At least we were seeing things happening from government end. You came there, you say you've increased the budget from that to almost $1 billion. Then you chop salaries and people do not get their pay. There's no way a president in his inaugural address will tell the Liberian people that businesses, you will not be spectators in your own economy. Today, every single business person in this country is complaining. Because you know what? The people who are supposed to get job to even go back, they don't have the job. Those that have the job, they're supposed to get paid to go back from business people. They're not getting paid. This president told us that they were going to lift 1 million people out of poverty. They have plunged more than 500,000 people into poverty. They need to go.
Thank you, Mwali. We're going to turn our attention to Remy Gray and then Wazi, and then I will have something to say. Go ahead, Remy Gray.
Thank you, Madam. The thing about Liberia is breakdown of law and order. We live in a country where people don't respect the laws. When it happens to someone else, we would think it's okay. But when it happens against us, we think it's wrong. I remember I've not gotten a moving violation, meaning traffic ticket in this country for a long time because I'm a freak for respecting the laws. When I go to Liberia, the same thing. I remember I came to Liberia and I was on the old road. I made a stop at a stop sign. All the drivers that passed by me ramped down my mom. They describe her in dire times. Because in their world, nobody's supposed to respect traffic signs. Now, if you go back and look at the Code of Conduct, Section 4 of the Code of Conduct talks about civic responsibility and professionalism. When you serve in public corridors like the legislature, whether you're a staffer or whether you are a legislator, the laws are clear on what you can and cannot do. Don't back the wrong thing when a group of people use the platform that is supposed to be professional and chant slogans that are political, yet you frown on the other guy who looks at it and say, well, the laws were not evenly respected, so therefore I'm coming in with my own. That's why we should respect the law. If we respect our law, people will not steal from government. There will be no corruption. Because you know what? You know the consequence when you do that. I could care less who is there as long as we have this culture of impunity where we don't respect the laws. We'll continue to make mistakes. We're just changing the players. but the game remains the same. This is why we continue to say, change the game, change the players, and bring a new game, bring a new player that has never participated in past games or in past action. If you do that, you will have a better country. There's the need for us to change. If we bring the old players that were decommissioned in 2017, we bring them back, we're just changing the players. The game remains the same. This is why the fight is so strong. I'm not anxious to see one old player replace a current player. It doesn't make any sense. They will come back and disrespect the law. That's what they know. That's what they know best. We say bring a player who has never participated in any of these kinds of activities before. If they have, don't give them power, because you give them power, you know exactly what you're expecting. I will rest at this point. Thank you so much.
Time, Mr. Gray. I'm going to bring Mr. Wazzy. Wazzy, good to have you. We haven't seen you for a long time. Hope that this is not going to be your last time here. You won't disappear on us again. So tell us your thoughts.
Well, thank you.
Actually, I'm even going to give Wazzy extra 1 minute.
Yeah, I think so. And even more.
No. The man time about to expire. Let me move from here back.
I just showing face. I know stand on you like my business, but I mean, I don't see any problem. So, look. Yeah.
Was he the pay the money?
Well, too many things happening, right? And on a serious note, as it is right now, the future of Liberia is at stake. For those of us who are on record for putting everything into this, into the effort that brought this government to power, it has now become an issue that I consider as trial imperatives, three-way approach, where we have to decide to either see Liberia going forward or to push the country towards a stalemate, or to sit down and allow the country retrogress. And so nobody can brag right now, whether the ruling party or the opposition, any of the opposition political party, that they are in charge of the country. On a serious note, Liberians are mobilizing at different levels. My phone has been very busy of late. People calling from back home, they want to know what's going on. And so people are kind of confused. And one of the issues that really baffled me was this whole legislative staff endorsing one camp and other people endorsing another camp. Now, one group carry marching band in the Capitol building, and another group, you could tell the difference, the two crowds, which one was really the Capitol building staffers, and the other one who were guests, who have gone there to support a political effort by invitation. So all I just want to say here is that this is going directly to my people, my fellow citizens. We are in charge of the country, and we got to manage the security of the country. I think at the stance now, anybody with a security eye will understand that provocation is coming from one side, and it is not healthy for our democracy. And you can be in a glass or and be throwing stones. So we got to live with this. That when you are the ruling party, people will come at you. And so the international community is going to hold you responsible than any political party in that country. So you go to Capitol building, you carry a marching band, the vice president is there, she's barricaded by EPS officers, and the people are using derogatory remarks. You have opposition pundits in the same buildings. All the kinds of uncalled for, indirect provocative actions have got high security risks, and it's not good. If you follow the history of the beginning of civil crisis across the world, including what led to World War I, World War II, basic provocations. So I think, and in politics, provocation is a sign of, is a strategy of the losing side. So we need to be mindful and avoid sending the wrong message. Dr. Richardson will be appearing fully on Saturday. I would really want to have more time to touch on a lot of issues. One of the officials of government make a statement, and he worked in the Madam Salih government as a cabinet member. I think his statement is something disingenuous because he was the one leading the defense of the alien government. So to come out and start a flag issue, it contradicts his own roles and it further questions his integrity and his level of trust of trustworthiness. So since we don't have enough time, I just like to give you a gist of how intellectually charged my appearance is going to be on Saturday, because you already put in more time now, because ANC people don't like to see me, but no problem. So no, I'll stop right here.
Whatever it was, it's great having you back. You are making really, really strong points.
Can I ask Wozie some question, Madam Moderator, please?
Yes, please ask.
Can I switch? Yeah, we are allowed to. Can I just switch with Minister Fagon?
Now we're getting more time to toss that.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
I wanted to you're going to address something he said. I just wanted to give my point.
No. I'm sure it was Eugene who said the poor had guns to the party headquarters.
No, my thing.
Shooting up, then he coming talking Tabata.
I just wanted to ask Minister Wozie, what you are saying today, to be serious, maybe more early when you have his time, he will address this issue. What you are saying today, CDC, what were the expectations going into 2023, knowing very well that they were going to push President George Manawiya, that say, you know what, you need to be re-elected, we'll support you. Is it strange? Are you sensing something different when they talk about change for hope or hope for change? Have something changed in the community of CDC? I mean, what scares you? What keep you up at night as a seditious, seeing what you're seeing now from the Liberian people, Wozie?
Well, no, Stanton, it would take me more than an hour to explain to you bit by bit, because I play a pivotal role in the election of President George Weah. That is not a secret. Minister Fagon there coordinated international propaganda, and he also hit the ground running. He came down and we kept pushing. And back home in Liberia, I serve as the chairman on the Joint Committee on Press Propaganda and Strategic Planning. So there is not a propagandist in Liberia. Now all these beginners who they're hiring and paying to be talking crap on the radio can tell me about the propaganda. We can tear it apart and tell you the holes in it, because we know exactly what we told people and some of the secrets in it. But trust me, right? I'm constrained to say that the Blue Revolution was besieged from the get-go, and President Weah, friends, those who believe in his kinsmen that around him are the one manipulating him. The individual called George Weah himself, George Mana Opon Weah, has got a disciplined character. But there are some very arrogant figures who don't give anything about how other people feel. And they are the ones you trust a lot. So they've succeeded in creating what you call a racist structure. They make him to believe that people are against him. People in the party are not true partisans, but those are the same people who were sent on the front lines. I asked one of them one day. Now, I spent about a month in Nimba along with Professor Wilson Tappe, almost a month moving around. I said, look, so if we have plans to cross Prince Johnson, for example, why did you guys waste our time to go to Nimba to go sleep in a mosquito to make him to convince the Nigerians to vote for us? Now, the advice to use ranks at Prince Johnson is not a product of the character George Manawiya. It's as a result of quote unquote racists and tribalists around him who he trusts so much, who have been advising him and making him to believe that the 2023 election has already been won. Which of course questions the National Elections Commission capacity to conduct the elections, because if people with close proximity will declare that the election is already over, that means somebody is expecting a token vote from the National Elections Commission.
Right, because I know you're coming by side that Richardson got to go. My last question to you, because you got to leave, you are working. Let me read this to you, my brother. I beg you, maybe everybody can tap off on stage. This is the time frame from the Daily Observer. They said most Liberians can hardly wait for his term to end. We are asking Liberian question: should he be re-elected? But now listen, most Liberians can hardly wait for his term to end. Through his 5 years presidency so far, only President George Manuel Weah and his officials rate his performance favorably. But most Liberians, the righteousness of the economy is better. Life experience and the consensus is that as president, Weah's incompetence has been unparalleled. He's incompetent. Just what you are saying. And we get more where this coming from. Wozie, folks that will say, hail to the king. You got clothes on, but the king is naked. Hey, can you end on that note? Those people around him, the Eugene Nangbe, those people around him, the Samuel Twe, those people around him, Akaris Grave, the person like Jefferson Koji, the person, all of them. Hail to the king. Look, you got clothes on.
You see, look, let me just close on this. It's just, hail to the king is just one thing, but all of them have got their own motives. They've succeeded in creating their own clusters within the government, and they have their own separate ambitions. Some want to succeed him, some want to control 8 regions of the country. After his tenure, they want to push their own political interest, and they are using his presidency as a chariot to launch themselves, just making his presidency vulnerable. But he has up to now not gotten over that to understand exactly what those folks are doing around him. And interestingly, most of them do not have political relevance. They do not have independent political relevance. They do not have a constituency of their own besides he, George Weah, brings to the table. But they are the one controlling him. And he has got more to lose at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Wozie. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Wozie. I want to go back to the conversation we're having about having partisans use the government building to campaign or for political rallies or sentiments. I disagree with that, and I condemn that. And I wish that the opposition party members join me, their leadership join me in condemning the use of public property for campaigning. Number one, I don't think that NEC announced that campaign started yet. Okay, so we are in violation of the law already. Number two, it creates a conflict of interest. Okay, what if somebody says in the CDC party staff worker say, I don't want to participate in this merrymaking today? How might that person be seen? Or what if that person? What if property gets destroyed? Who pays for that? So those are the things that, we need to be thinking about. The government was elected to uphold the laws of our country. And if they are the one breaking the law, how do we expect them to keep themselves in check? How do we expect them to implement the laws? And so I strongly condemn using government property for campaign purposes or political propaganda. Please, let's take it somewhere else if we need to do that. The next thing I want to talk about, in that statement that Stanton put out, he said when incompetence is unparalleled. You know what happened when incompetence is unparalleled? This is what is happening right now. The incompetency of Weah or the Weah's government is so unparalleled to any other government that we have had in Liberia, to the extent that the money is not even trickling down to our regular people. The women are still suffering. I was in Liberia about maybe a week and a half ago. Everywhere, when you go to the marketplaces, women are saying that we are here all day, nobody even buying. We just come, sometimes we have to take our products home. Especially those in the fish market, they're telling me, I brought some fish goods home, actually. And this lady was so happy when she saw me. And she said, you know what? Please help me so I can be able to take my fish to America, to another market. Because over here, sometimes I can't even, the fish can spoil on me. I can't even get to to fix the fish for people to buy because nobody's buying it. That is a problem. You know, when Mo Ali talked about our president building mansions and other people in the government building, you can see the buildings. You can see it's these are buildings that are not even planned for. You know, I saw some of them, a couple of them around IA Highway. There's no parking lot. You can just see that there's no zoning law, no structure. It's just because they have money, they can use that money and they can use it only in Liberia because maybe they think that the money trail will not be followed. But yes, thank God Big Brother is watching. Money trail will be followed. They will be held accountable for their behavior. So I'm going to lastly conclude that when people are using our money and saying, okay, we are doing things for the Liberian people, let's make sure that there's equity exists between what they are doing for themselves and what they are doing for the Liberian people. How is the money trickling down to our people? That is the question that I have to ask this government. How is the money trickling down to our people? Don't just tell me, oh, I'm building parks. Yes, that's good. I like the fact. I think I listened to Father Guy a little bit earlier today. He said parks are good. But we can build parks, build school, and have resource center and after school program at the same time. But it would take a government who's interested in the population and not only in their benefit or in their own personal gain or in their own personal agenda. We can do all of that. Our country is rich enough. I was reading something from Page Africa, and I'm going to land on this as well because I see Stella look at me like, oh, the time keep on going on, yeah. Okay. Our logging company.
Forget the time I said.
Our logging company. I heard that the logging company in Grand Bassa County just dropped all the logs there to rot. Okay. It ran away. You know how rich our company, our country is? We could be collecting money, taxes from that logging company to put people in school, to help our hospital. We could be collecting taxes and money from our iron ore, taxes and money from our gold, taxes and money from our palm. But what is happening to our country? Certain people are continuing to get the money. And thank you. Okay, we're going to go back. Do you want to, Falcon, are you needing your time? We're going to go to Falcon in a sentence.
What's the topic now?
Any topic on your mind?
Well, thank you again. Let me say this. You know, a lot of people keep telling me, oh, Billy just say you would deal with y'all, you would do this, Look, folks, the messages are too many. Let me say this to you. In any warfare, for that matter, the scary chicken will always hide behind his tongue. And when they know you're firing at the general who has the map or the plan for the operation, then they will try to distract you by firing the little 38 caliber pistols. Pow, pow! And then you will turn your whole gun to them and they mean nothing. Ability is like a fly in water. He's drowned already. There are 4 different indictments. I don't want to fight him. And that's not our focus here tonight.
Already, yeah, ability. So let's move
on. Having said that, you went soon they talk to Echo. So yeah. Look at the man post. He just put up 1 hour ago. I always spent on cycle. Just put it up. Just 1 hour. We're talking here. The man attacking. Anyway, let me just say this.
Michelle, when I say when they go low, we go high.
No. When they go low, I go down there and check you from there and deal with you. I don't get a chance. You go African style. But let me say this, folks. I am from Bomi. The folks from Bomi, Cape Mount, Bapolu listening, listen carefully. If you have LMC company, dig up all your iron ore and they're gone. NIOC, Bear Mountain. And all of a sudden, a company comes by and buy 49% of your 100% iron ore deposit. What happened to the 51%? Today, when we ask that question, people want to run behind us. When we dig deeper about the Pan-African capital group, people get annoyed. But Western Cluster, who is earning hundreds of millions today, is only having 49%. We know that as a fact. So where is our 51%? Who has it? Who got control over it? We know about the 3 oil blocks and Chevron. Everything going for us. We're living in our country and there is no equity. What crime are we committing to say that we want to know. Look at NOCAL and the 30 million. What crime are we committing? We brought a leader that was supposed to effectuate change. He refused to audit. He granted the past government 80%. And the past government paid our people well. Prices were reduced. Now, we say we don't want anybody to die. Almost 8 auditors died. 3 missing boys, young girls, everything, drugs, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of drugs. Today we sit on this platform and people think we're fighting. We're not fighting. We're not even arguing. Because when the serious part reach, it will be game on. We will be saying, but we'll not see some people. We'll see the issue. We'll be talking, we'll not be talking at people. We'll be talking with people and for people. And yes, we will present to the Liberian people a leader that is capable, who has been there, done that, who was just, according to Wisner, a heartbeat away from the presidency, who knows what government is and who knows what the Liberian people want. And I will conclude by saying, Joseph Boakai said, we had several opportunities, but we squandered it. He did not say I. In his honesty, because he was part of the government, he admit how many of the people who were on the board of directors, who were in these banks, who was part of this company, these companies, who ran the government, who were there, how many of them willing to admit? But why did Boakai say we squander it? Look at Western Cluster today. They spent over $200 million in bribes, but not even 1,000 went to the people of Bomi. Look at Asila Vita today. They promised everything, but the Nima people never saw anything. Look at China Union today. The government had the money before the people even started. Look at the Liberian people today. They got nothing. So who's right? Is Joseph Boakai not saying we had the opportunities, but we squandered it? He was absolutely 100% correct. Because had we used our resources to benefit the collective will of the people and the general welfare of the people, would not be crying today. But only a handful of people ate the money. But that 51%, we'll find it before the show end. The people that get it, they will show face.
Okay, as far as you got evidence, it'll be fine. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. Again, I'm not going to talk about Mossad. There will be a time to speak on the Mossad issue. So I'm not talking. Let me focus on what is at stake in Liberia. Folks, the government said change for hope or hope for change. But we can now consider this PAPD, change for hope or hope for change, as change for extreme poverty. I want you to take your pen and your paper. Change for extrajudicial killing. Change for no investment. Change for the poorest healthcare system in the world. And you can add and add and add. The worst. USA today. USA. In Liberia, when they say USA, I think we got to mute somebody. We're getting a bad feedback. Can we mute ourselves, please? When they say USA Today, is one of the biggest leading online and print media institution here in America. USA Today reported that Liberia was among the top 10 poorest in the world under President George Manawiya government. The top 10 poorest. The president that promised change for hope, but that promise has turned to be change for extreme poverty. Ones that you have never seen. That people are now going to the dumper to find food. Like during the war time, we used to go look for pakana, pan cabbage. Amen. The man from Gibraltar, the man that had no money, from extreme poverty when he was growing up, he have turned on his own people to prosecute them by his leadership, to suffer them and make them understand that they are refugees in their own homeland. An estimated 64% of Liberians live below the poverty line. 64%. The rest of them are government people that can come to America, get double visa, get citizenship and green card that are working for John Weah. Of that 64%, of whom 1.3 million live in extreme poverty. The big question is, can President George Manuel Weah win re-election amid his disappointing economic of governance performance? Can he win re-election? Let's stop joking here. Let's stop talking nonsense. Tabata. Let's ask the hard question. Why you want to give Samuel Toy 6 more years as finance minister? Why you choose to give Samura Wodokoli 6 more years as deputy finance minister? Why are you so okay that Eugene Lin Nangbe can take your money and go watch the Arsenal game while you suffer? Is it okay for you that President Weah can just flash you with park? And you know, people go there and do their thing. Then you go spend 48 days all of the country. My fellow Liberian, let it cost. They choose not to be our friends, it's okay. They choose not to talk to us, it's okay. They choose to call us speech, like the president have called us Chemlin, like we can call it Chemlin, call us speech from the Liberian people, it's okay. But this is the fact that 64% of Liberians living in extreme poverty. 64%. Are you among the 64%? Are you going to bed with your God for tonight? Do you have hope for tomorrow? When something tonight happen to you, do you have transportation to take you to the hospital? God forbid. You pregnant. When you get pregnant and you about to born the baby and you in pain, that wheelbarrow will take you to the near old man to help you deliver, or that the ambulance will carry you to the hospital. What food your children ate tonight? How many times have you asked and begged somebody from America to help you? Open your eyes, my fellow Liberian. Enough is enough. Should President George Manuel Weah be re-elected, we shall continue, and the truth will be told. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you. So I'm now going to go to Fadiga. Fadiga, your thoughts?
Well, it's based on everything we have heard here, it is clear that this president should be gone like yesterday. Look, I've seen countless violation, and my attention was drawn to one. Yesterday, I listened to Eugene Nangwe. I wish we would have talked about it. Let's Eugene Nangwe. And
you can't talk about it.
I can talk about it. All right. These guys have violated every laws. Let me draw your attention to Article Section 5 of our Code of Conduct. And that is something that I think Dak and I think Remy, I think you guys missed certain things in your commentary, and I think I wanted to erect a little checkpoint there. Are those legislative staffers that were pledging their support? I think they are within their right, as prescribed in the Liberian Constitution, to do whatever they want, to endorse whatever they want. I think our Code of Conduct, if you look at Part 5, when they talk about political participation, Section 5.1 all the way down, it talks about presidential appointee, those that serve at the way that are the president has right to appoint in pursuant of Article 56 of our Constitution. Those So Eugene Nangwe yesterday, what he did on air was completely nobody appointed by the president, whether it's commissioner, deputy minister, director, managing director, superintendent, are allowed to get involved in any political activity. So when we see police wearing CDC regalia and passing around, those are all gross violation of our laws. So we see people engaging in politics. So what we saw today could be construed as a violation. For those that we saw in the legislature, so I think those people were in the right to endorse whoever senator they want. Senators and legislators are elected officials. They are now appointed. They are elected officials. If you look at Article 5.2, where is it? A all the way to B, or you read the whole section 5, when they talk about political participation, part 5 of our code of conduct. It says it all who are forbidden from engaging in any political activity. So some of you that are watching, you could probably do that. Because of time, I won't want to go through into that. But so those people, they had a right to do it. But what really puzzling me is the fact that George Weah have complete disregard for and respect for the Liberian people. George Weah have abused the love that the Liberian people have for him. I think they have exploited it and abused it to the point that the people are fed up. And it is manifesting in the attitude. What is preventing the people from getting out there right now, I think, is the fear, is that intimidation. And the only place that they have the power, they will be able to exercise that power, will be at the ballot box. And we should see a real protest vote. So, to my good friends, what I'm sensing here is that and you guys should do everything to throw jab at another opposition candidate. Had this been Mr. Cummings, I don't think we would be having this conversation. You know, that is wrong, is this and that. People have done it all the time. That we got to be very honest here. You guys are against these people because it's Nyombli, the same Nyombli that you guys were going after, the same guys that, I mean, I'm sorry I have to be doing it, but I thought
actually, I mean, it's healthy disagreement,
but yeah, I think you guys have been disingenuous to those people. Those people were within their right to do what they did yesterday, and I don't think that they violated any laws. They are legislative staffers. They are not presidential appointees. And they have right to participate. So
actually, you got about 30 seconds, and then we'll go to.
Good, 30 seconds. So what I'm going to say is this: that as we get closer to this election, I want us to focus, and I'll maintain that we'll continue to remain focused on George Weah. Look, the process leading up to this election has been rigged. I'm afraid that the CDC is up to something. If you listen to those dark whistles coming from the legislature today, I heard it from Buffer Chimo, I heard it from something. These guys, I don't know what they're smoking to say they will win one round, but that one round is not just something arbitrary that's just coming out of nowhere. CDC have rigged the process. The beginning of rigging an election start with the process. The process will rig through the census. The process will rig through the voter registration. Now it's on the tail leg. What I haven't put my arm around is how they intend to carry this out at the polling station. This is why I'm still studying. If some of you got any idea how this can manifest at the polling center, show me. But that is the tail process, tail step.
Thank you, Wally.
Thank you. So I'll actually like to respond to something that Eugene Nangwe, who is considered the more for hire, said yesterday. He talked about the former vice president budget over the last 12 years. And he talked about it in the way that, this man ate $20 million over 12 years. You know, firstly, it tells me that for a man who served 3 different ministerial positions in the UP government and defended the UP government, defended the very vice president, defended President Salif, does not serve anybody right. But firstly, what Eugene Nangbe failed to realize that of that budget, there was the Group of 77 budget embedded in that budget, which was more than $2.5 million over that period. And the Group of 77 was responsible for their own allotment. In that budget, the Vice President of their staff, they have more than their staff, their compensation, I mean their salaries, basic salaries and allowances were more than $6 million. Was it controlled by Joseph Boakai? No, Eugene Nangbe, it was controlled by the CSA. Foreign travel, about $2.6 million. Was it controlled by Joseph Boakai? No, it was controlled by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Now, when you look at these things and also take into consideration that even while Joseph Boakai as vice president was leaving the vice presidency, other vice presidents would have used up all of their budget. He left more than 50% of the budget for the current vice president. There was cash in account, physical cash, both LD and USD. He left them there. He would have wiped out all of the bank account. Every single thing, even the shit that he was using that did not finish, he left them there, Eugene. But you ask the question, what is that record of rescue? What are they coming to rescue? Eugene Nangbe will come and rescue Liberia from people like you, who have been leeching on government from Charles Taylor days up to this time. Do you know that you were the chief of staff to Moses Bah? You serve in the Jude Bryant government ministerial position? Of course. You are served in every government. You have leached on every government in this country with no record of productiveness. The moment you realize that the UP was going to be defeated in the second round, when you were Secretary General, a sellout or traitor in our midst, you were in the UP and selling information to the CDC, you jump shift. You jump shift quickly. You were information minister and you remain information minister. Do you really have any right to sit on radio to talk? We are rescuing the country for people like you. You guys are the one who hijacked the Blue Revolution that Samuel Wosi talked about with no good intent. You're plenty in the government. You people did not help we are. The same way you came with that corrupt mind in the UP. You corrupted the Ministry of Youth and Sport. You corrupted the Transport Ministry. You corrupted the Ministry of Information. And Mr. Weah likes corrupt people. So he took you. Nowhere around a Joseph Boakai government you would have surfaced. Nowhere around. But I can see that my own former Secretary General, under who I serve as Assistant Secretary, wants to continue. Now with Maritime. Maritime is supposed to be a professional place.
30 seconds.
Dealing with events that will bring money to the country, but no. You are now the mouthpiece. You're not information minister. The information minister by now, he dead, gone, finished, kaput. He can't even say a word this time. He said again $17,000 for the whole year, so he can't talk. When Eugene was going from Ministry of Information, he carried the Ministry of Information.
Okay, let it mail finish now. Let the email then finish.
Which
10
email?
seconds. The email you're sending out right now.
No, but you interrupted my time. He spoke to he carried the Ministry of Information budget with him to Maritime. Sure. Ministry of Information there, they got Google people, but they're more dragging. Yesterday, he said he's the chief strategist and information minister now for the CDC. Instead of him concentrating on Maritime, for Maritime to become more productive and bring more money to the country, he's concentrating on talking lies on ERBC. And then he said the Liberian people are not gullible.
5 seconds, please.
People are not gullible. The Liberian people will not listen to you because what you have is a mob for hire that lies all over the place. Thank you, my time is.
Thank you. You delivering mail today. Okay. At least not to me. All right, we're gonna go to Remy Cray and then Wazi, and then I will take my time, and then we're gonna go to the phone lines.
You know, the danger of trying to interpret laws when you have not studied the law is exactly a very dangerous thing that can drive any society, that can plunge us into chaos. When Al is looking at section 5.1 or going forward as the basis of the code of conduct, I'll urge him to look back a little bit to Article 4 of the very code of conduct that talks about civic responsibility in the public sector.
Yeah.
When they talk about your civic right to participate, it is not for you to violate a civic responsibility that says you shall not use governmental premises or any public property for your private political campaign. They will tell you clearly. So the laws are clear, but you're not a law student. You've never read law. Sorry to say that, but you're attempting to interpret Section 5. It's okay. But let us go back and look at whether the only good thing that can happen to Liberia is either the past government of Madam Sirleaf and Ambassador Boakai, or the current president or the current government. Those are not the only two good things. If you think why would you want to go back to the past government of Madam Sirleaf and Ambassador Boakai? If it was so good for you, why would you want to look forward to bring President Weah? And then when President Weah is letting you down, you're going back to look back to your failed past. What sort of people do that? No normal group of individuals should be doing that. I'm not talking down on you, but I'm just saying that sometimes when hard time comes your way, we tend not to think. Remember, if that past government of Madam Sirleaf was the best, there would have been no President Weah. Please don't avoid those two governments completely. Look, there are good governments or good people that will come and change the trajectory of things. There is Chairman Gonglo, there is, of course, Mr. Cummins, there is Mr. Moniba. Think about people who have not done it, but have some good records in their past. Don't be like windshield wiper, Madam Sirleaf, Joe Buckeye, George Weah. Things bad here, you go back here. You are just in a circle, a spiral circle that is not ending.
20 seconds,
to better your life. So please, Liberians, I will continue to say, don't be carried away by emotions. Don't let anything drive you to go back to the past. It was not good in the first place. That's why you chose Weah. Weah has proven to be worst. Please don't go back to your past. Go forward. That is where your life will be better. And there are so many good people ahead of you. Choose one of them. Leave those two people alone. They have done what you know, and what you know is struggling and suffering. Don't go back there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wazi, come on in, please.
Well, thank you, Dr. Richardson. And we're having a very interesting conversation, but it's just that sometimes I find it difficult to connect with some of Conor Grace's analysis, but I don't blame him. He's a retired Conor, so sometimes his analysis can be militarily guarded. But on a serious note, at this point, no party can brag about winning the elections in the first rounds. That is mathematically impossible. And I think for anybody who will be saying that, our side or the other side will be doing it on the basis of what we call in statistics optimism biasness. You can be optimistically biased sometimes. But for the elections contest, one could look at, we're talking about election algorithms, you can allow, depend on what you call, dumbing figures. There are ways you can maybe temper with numbers, and you are sure that at the end of the day, it will give you the kind of result you desire. That means you are directing the system on how, who will win. You already know. So you're just going to do maybe just a show for people to say, yeah, we have elections. If that's the case, then I foresee serious problem in October. Because it's no secret that there is so much tension in the country. And my only advice at this point is that we all need to do everything possible to ensure that we keep our country very peaceful, because I think in the history of Liberia, besides the civil crisis, Liberia is very close to running into something different, because you see the level of agitation, you see it in the faces of the people on television, on the online platforms. You read a lot of things from back home. So those who are privileged to be within the proximity of the presidency, we have to tell the president the truth, and also put into place the requisite mobilization efforts within the various institutions to ensure that what happened at the Barabas represent the collective result of the Liberian people, and not somebody sitting down and depending on some commissioner somewhere to get them some numbers. Because trust me, except where we are prepared to go back to the dark days and we want to repeat history. So we should stop the level of provocation. Lastly, before I end on this point, Colonel Gray mentioned the issue about the two groups that did their endorsement in the Capitol building. I think for sure, people have got the right to associate in keeping with as provided for on our Constitution. And the only thing is that when presidential appointees use the same proximity and authorize their supporters to start provoking others, then that becomes a serious problem. So that means they didn't need to carry,
30 seconds, Mr. Wozi.
Marching band or whatsoever in there. I mean, we could all go about endorsing our candidates, but let's do it in a very civil way. Who becomes the next president, whatever president we are, will continue. We pray for that. Whether it becomes Joe Barker or Ellis Cummings or Gonglo. Look, there will always be time for politics, and there will be time for reconciliation. We shouldn't spoil it beyond repairs. So if the people say they're tired with us, let them the power over. It is so we should continue, we continue. But we shouldn't force it, because somebody said one woman are born violent child. And I was before the 1990 war, we used to hear that song. People used to always sing that song. And then 1990, we know what happened. We don't want to repeat all that. From that now,
5 seconds, Mr.
Trying to use the military or the security structure to intimidate political opponents or to intimidate people who have dissenting views, I think that's the worst thing to do. It has never allowed any leader to secure their grips on power, to harness their grips on power very well. Let's read history and take you from the story that we've read from how leaders made mistakes in the past and were brought down and ended up in shame and disgrace. So thank you, Dr. Richardson.
You are muted.
I'm sorry, guys. It's interesting that Wozi and I are at least going to agree on a fact or a situation, and also I will disagree with you, Father God, but it's okay. Wozi, I stand with you in terms of having partisan members run campaign or demonstrate in the corridors of power in Liberia. I would say today, whether it's Mr. Cummings or whether it's Buckeye or whether it's Moniba or whether it's George Weah, I don't think it is good for our democracy because it breaks the law. It breaks also the ethical code of conduct in our country. I think Father God read a certain portion about appointed officials, but if you go to 5.8 and also Remy Gray read a certain portion, 5.8 says it is unlawful for any civil servant employed in any branch of the government to use his official authority or influence for the purpose of interfering with an election or affecting the result thereof. So I, in my opinion, and I'm sure many can side with me, that what happened today in the corridors of power was a way of influencing the election, singing songs, dancing, making speeches that had the potential of influencing someone. Secondly, again, I said, again, this is how we start to break down conflict of interest, boundaries issue. If we allow this to happen, then what is the next thing we're going to allow to happen? Play to play, which we know is happening in our government because we are not checking when these little things happen. We say, oh, it's just a political campaign. So I stand with you, Wazir Remy Gray, that it was wrong, whether it's Cummings, whether it's Booker, whether it's George Weah, we need to take cue. I also want to say that when we come on this platform, I'm really enjoying the conversation tonight. I think it's very important that we bring up evidence, okay? We show how facts or how our evidence can tie our candidates to different thoughts that we have about them. And it's not important for us just to talk. And I would say this again, whether we are speaking about Mr. Cummings, whether we are speaking about Mr. Ability, we are speaking about George Weah or Buckeye, we should be able to support our talk with evidence. I'd like to say something about, connecting Mr. Cummings because he was a member of the board or led a board. I've worked in organizations in the modern system where board members were part of the organizational structure. I would tell you that the daily operation of an organization, for example, where I currently have worked for the past 20 years, the university has a board. The board have meetings maybe 4 times a year. They're not there in the department to know exactly how I'm teaching, what I'm supposed to be tenure or not, what my students are saying or not saying about me. They get report from their couple of middlemen in the middle to make decisions. So when we come here and say, oh, board, because somebody was on a board of a bank or because they're a board of an organization, that means that they approved what is happening in the country. That is not necessarily the truth. So until we can have some specific connection, some specific evidence, then I think it would be fair for us to have those discussions here. Lastly, I think Stanton was asking a good guideline for Liberians to know how to vote, to know what is important to them on October 10th is to ask yourself, again, as Stanton said, is your life better today than it was 6 years ago? And I bet when I was in Liberia, I was asking this question to several men, women, young people, old people, different types of people in Liberia. They were telling me no, resounding no. In fact, I had a conversation when somebody asked me, who graded government? I asked them, before I graded government, can you tell me if your life is better today than it was 6 years ago? Another question I asked them, have you seen new investors in the country coming in the last couple of months than in 6 years ago? And I got no. I also asked them, have you seen your president communicating with you, having a press conference to tell you the benefits of his many travels around the world? Have anyone seen that? And what Liberians were telling me, a resounding no. So Liberians, to make decisions about our country, you don't want our country where it is right now. You want to move forward. And there's several ways that you can select a person. Especially, I want you to keep in mind that our country, by all assessment, this is not from me alone, say that we are at least 50, 60, some people say even 100 years behind. You want someone who is up to date with some of the modern technology, some of the modern understanding, some of the modern thoughts, some of the modern ways of interacting with people to move our country forward, not just in our system. Yes, I like the culture of Liberia. I love the Liberian food. I like, the way we engage with each other. Yes, there's some good things we can keep.
7 minutes.
But in order for us to move forward, we must elect someone who's very aware, adaptable to the current happenings of the world. Someone who will support meritocracy, not who know you or partisanship. Someone who wants all Liberians to benefit from the riches and the resources from our country. So, Mr. Fagon, I rest my case and turn it over to Stephen, who will take us to the phone lines.
Well, maybe we will not do the phone line today because the lightning and thunder in the country giving us problem. Been back and forth. So let's just do our rounds of closing, I would suggest. But while you yield this time,
But
I know that
at least
let me do. But let me.
Can I do my closing before you? I got 2% on my stuff left.
Oh, but
they're making laugh by way. He can laugh by way.
And put it in the chat room right now.
That picture out from your cell phone. Go ahead, do your closing, man. They're making laugh. 2%. Who would believe 2%? You home? You charging it? Look at that. Go ahead, man.
Let me say this, Dr. Francine. The board meets quarterly. So yeah, some boards 4 times a year. But what do they meet for? Just to drink coffee? They meet to review the policies and everything about the company.
No.
Okay, I will pause. Dr. Francine, why do boards meet?
As I explained to you earlier, I'll wait my turn to explain. Go ahead.
No. Today I will hold you, Dr. Francine, on my time.
Yeah, but now the time is fast spent, guys.
I can explain that because I have heard.
Why do the board of directors meet for schools or companies? Why do they meet?
Give me a chance, Mona.
Yeah.
Okay. I have several interactions with board members and being several capacities where I have board members sit as stakeholders in the organizations that I worked in. When a board member gets to the meeting, usually they're there for a day or so.
Dr. Francine, why do the boards meet? You're telling me about the board member. Why do board of directors meet?
But we're not in kindergarten now. I gotta explain exactly why.
But a simple question. Why do boards of directors meet?
Because you don't understand the working of a board. But when a board meets, they get.
So guys, we shouldn't just. We've been doing good. We have to go. We've been doing good. Dr. Richardson, I beg you. Can Fagon just do his closing because we gotta go. I'm begging you guys, please. We discussed this. Let's just move on.
I got one. Google. They're the simple one. What is the purpose of a board meeting? I'm reading. A board meeting is held to review the strategic plan that has been developed by the board of directors. The goal is for the directors to agree on which direction.
It's clear, simple.
To move in. And how it will be implemented.
Yeah. So community news everything about our group.
A board meeting is a meeting to set up policy and strategy. Dr. Francine, that one at Google, you can go there.
You set up policy and strategy?
Dr. Francine, when you go, you will read the reality. Then I bring people understand it.
So because the thing is clear. It doesn't require too much.
What's that? I beg you.
I heard. So that won't finish. We should come with facts. The greatest fact is for Dr. Kumis, Mr. Kumis himself.
To
put on his own website.
Excuse themselves from board meetings too.
Okay, but the greatest fact is Mr. Kumis' own admission on his own website that me Kumis, our own board. Me Kumis, our own board of Chevron. And we have shown the other laboratory. Kumis not lie. Kumis, thank you. You're not a liar like some people. Secondly, Remy made the connection of windshield wiper going left and right. We might not go to Ellen, we might not go to Joe Parker, we might not go to Chawia. But he forgot that on the same platform, Moniba said he served as Minister for State. He bragged that he implemented all the projects, he started all, he did everything. So who was Moniba? He was inspired government before he recommended that we should take him. He from the early government. Then we got Cummins. Cummins has been around. The parent company of the International Bank and the insurance company and all is PACG, the Pan-African Capital Group. Cummins has ties to them. Cummins is from the past government. So if you say windshield wiper, they're on that truck wiper. Because at the end of the day, what happened at LEC? What happened with our mining thing, our oil and all? Yeah, the GSC report, they just sent it to me. I hear talking about 30 million. Now new 30 million are chicken change. Conducted by John S. Molu. I'm sure you know him. As for how you call him Eugene Nangbe, let him tell who case Sam Bokari. Because his explanation as chief of staff in the office of Moses Blah, that he only gave all up and then they put a body in the pickup, then they put one line on him. That explanation don't jive. What we are saying.
What happened to the man?
No,
the man told you that he had 2 minutes. The man said he had 2 seconds. 2 seconds on that thing. They fucking get trouble. But let me do my stuff real quick.
Go ahead.
We have no time. Let me do my stuff while we're closing, folks. Again, we pray for better weather tomorrow. Then we can take your calls. Again, this is your network. We appreciate you. A lot of comments, huge followers. Listen, there's time and season for everything. There's time to speak. There's time to be silent. Ecclesiastes 3 says there is time under the sun. The time to born and the time to die. The time to sow and the time to reap. I choose my battle. I prepare my mindset and I go into a warfare ready. So say what you want to say, be my guest. Talk about me, be my guest. The true, the lie, enjoy yourself. But I will speak to the power that be to help Liberia be a better country. I need no position in the country. I'm not doing this because I'm looking for a job. No. I'm doing this because Liberia needs to be a better place. No. This picture you're showing for Mo Ali, that's not my picture, James. Don't interrupt me, please. Today, we are receiving information from Front Page newspaper. 12-pounder jury said defendant in U.S. 100 million drugs bust not guilty. Justice for sale? We'll discuss this tomorrow. The judge has hereby ordered the return of the U.S. 200,000 Cs from the defendants, as they have been found not guilty of smoking the significant amount of cocaine. The cocaine that the country have in the country foundation up to now. Yeah, I was saying, these people are not guilty. Set them free. Give them the money back. Give them the cocaine under the President George Manawia government. So everything the U.S. embassy say, the people will walk free. Everything international community cry about, you let the people go with the drugs. Who has in the cookie's jar? My fellow Liberians. Let me put it up again. Let's read. They have the people say, yo, leave the people alone. Set them free. How dare you? They brought the drugs in the country. You know who owned the drugs? Set the people free, man. That's our system. Let's stop joking. Let's stop the tabata. Our country deserves better. The American government spoke. They said, not your business. Today, the system found them not guilty. Change for hope or hope for change? Change for extrajudicial killing? Change to make all of our youth zogos? Change to bring in drugs that would kill the young men and women of our society? change of no investment. Hey, man. Hey, Liberia. The AO. We know you. They're pretending to be an opposition to President George Manneh Weah. We know you. We got your text messages. We have your recording. We know you. That you will do everything to keep President Weah in power, but you pretend to serve Cummins, and you pretend to serve Jose Yima Boakai, and you pretend to fight for the Liberian people. We know you. How much can you eat? Go and ask John Stater, my friend. Go and ask Samuel Kayando. Go and ask Tolbert. Go and ask Tubman. Go and ask them. Find them. Find them and ask them. You minister today. You're flying all over while the people suffering. Let God be our joy. Let God help our nation. Whether we live to see it, there's a promised land. And Liberians will get to that promised land. It's not by bullet. It will not be by the guns. It will be the mindset of Liberian people. We come together and say enough is enough. It will not be by demonstration. The people will go to the voting booth and they will vote. And the people will speak. Take your 2,000 from Samuel Tuet today. Take your 1,000 every month from Samuel Tuet. Go ahead, enjoy it. But the people will speak October 10th. And the people will speak for the change. A rightful change. For a better Liberia. Have a good night, my fellow Liberian. Till we meet again tomorrow. May God bless you. May God bless our country. May God uphold our nation. Never cease on praying. Pray like you have never prayed before. Pray with your sweat and blood. And let the will of God be done upon us all. Have a good night.
Thank you, Stanton. After you're going to stay to hear the rest of the people.
Man, Reverend already.
Well, I guess by the guy, you next. No, yeah, and then Marty, and then Remy Gray,
yeah,
and then I'll be next. I'll be last.
Thank you, Dak. I want to close on this, and I'm not a lawyer, but I want to make sure that Dak, I think you misread this thing. I want to just read it again so that it makes sense to probably make better sense to you. Article 55.8, it reads, it is unlawful for any civil servant employed in any branch of government to use his or his office, authority. I'll reread it. It is unlawful for any civil servant employed in any branch of government to use his official authority to influence, this keyword, official authority to influence, to authority or influence for the purpose of interfering with the election or affecting the result thereof. So that means influence for the purpose of interfering. This is not interfering in the election. It is clear what those guys did. The election is way in October. What this law simply means in layman terms, don't go to the ballot bar, prevent people, change the result or something. But where people are canvassing, the law did not nowhere, either in for where they got civic duty. And the good thing here is these code of conducts are out there. If you look in online, if you look to part 4, what they call constitutional civic responsibility and professionalism. I've read this about 20 times before, and I read it again. There is nothing in here that forbid anybody from using the legislature or any government place for any other thing. What those guys did yesterday was completely legal to the best of my knowledge. Any of you can go on Google our code of conduct and reread it, part 5, 4.1 all the way to 11. There is nothing. I don't know. I think my senior brother Remy Gray probably reading something else, either something from the Russian. You're reading Russian, so it sounded like Russian. So, but there is nothing that I have read, and people that have followed me for long know that I don't put any information that I cannot defend or back. If I'm wrong, I will definitely say. But 5.8 did not intend to prevent people from assembling. And what we saw, those are legislative staffers, and the legislator are elected officials. So they are not appointed. The code of conduct in 5.0 definitely said that people that are appointed by the president. So I think that they were well within their right to do that. But let move on to the bigger things. My thing, I think the only reason that we are hearing this thing is because these guys are supporting one group versus the other thing. But let us get to what is at stake here. When I listen to what we heard from Eugene Nangwe, to Buffer Chima, to the Vice President Joel Taylor, it shows people in panic mode. And one of the things that I gathered from that thing today, at that stuff at the legislature today, I never heard any mention of Tiawon Gongro, Alexander Cummings, anybody. You know what they were doing? They were attacking Ambassador Boyka. Joe Howard Taylor mentioned his name. Akaras Gray mentioned his name. Yesterday, Eugene Nangwe mentioned his name. You know where I'm heading with this thing. This is the biggest giant in the race. This is the man that is making them to want to do something in the pens. The rest are just, that's why I don't even want us to give credence to them. We are all in this together as opposition, but the biggest giant is the one that they are going after. We have to save this giant. We have to save this Ambassador Boyka to prepare him, because what is coming on, that tsunami, that hurricane that is blowing to rescue this country, they are afraid. They are panicking. The writing are on the wall. When you look at listen to all the posts, listen to all the radio stations, the people are saying this is who we want. If the bad decision, who even in America, even voted Donald Trump was all crazy, he cost people, he cost other countries, America can get it wrong. People can get it wrong, but we'll keep getting it wrong until one day we'll get it right. But to believe that this divine individual that God sent, if we don't worship him, then I mean Liberia shall perish, I do not believe it. The days of worshiping men 30 seconds. Yeah, I know when I start to attack the Messiah, they will cut me off. But that is all this stuff. I'm not complaining, but what I'm saying here is we should stop this hypocrisy. Liberia will not point. Liberia will all live out of us. We will all perish, and Liberia will remain. The biggest question is what kind of Liberia we envision for ourselves and our family. If it is one that we want better roads, better education, we need to get George Weah out. That is my rule, and that is my dream. And that is one of the things that I'm going to be helping Ambassador Weah to achieve this time in October. I submit.
Thank you. Mwali.
Thank you. You know, Fadiga, I can feel the pain of the ruling government, why they are so jittery. You know, Ambassador Boyka named Jeremiah Kpankun as his running mate. There was little feedback, bad feeling from some of the people we've collaborated with over the time. And people went around saying, well, we get to know if Joseph Boyka is a real leader, if you'll be able to keep the people together. This is a test of his leadership as to whether he can unify people. And people started running around. Well, that's Ambassador Boakai turning over to current Vice President Joel Howard Taylor. Everything that he turned over the 12 years is in the document he holding in his hand. And so the question was as to whether Ambassador Boakai will be able to maintain these people, keep them in his backyard. That was a test to his ability and his capacity to unify people. And so people started running around, running behind Yombli. Everybody was running. That 1 week, the Grand Bassa Road became the hottest road for all the political big shots in this country. Even President Weah called to book an appointment with her to meet on May 8th. And Yombli Kanga Lawrence, through constant communication from us and Ambassador Boakai, told us that, look, I believe in this man's ability to lead this country. I believe in his ability to rescue this country. I'm going nowhere. We will stay. They didn't believe it. And when Yombli had that endorsement program on Sunday in Buchanan, it chakla their whole defense. It shattered them. They are so angry. They didn't expect the forces to remain together. So when Eugene Nangbe went to speak yesterday on EFBC, that was one of the main talking points. Yombli. They're so angry. The people came back, they went to session. Genuine staffers of the legislature, of the Senate, organized a program and welcomed them. And they say in that program, we are together. Yombli said, whether Joseph Boakai chooses me or not, I believe in him. As a matter of fact, JMB, I don't want you to campaign. Go find a place, sit down and rest. We will campaign and win the election for you. This is making people angry. They didn't expect that Yombli was going to remain because the forces, Jeremiah Kun, Yombli, Delon, and all the other people adding up. So I feel that frustration. That's why they went to their program today. I don't believe they are wrong. Like I said therefore yesterday, the Capitol building is a political ground. That is no ministerial complex. That is not finance ministry. That is not Ministry of Information. It's a political ground where all the people over there are elected people. They are politicians. They are not ordinary public servants. They are politicians elected by the people. And the people who elected them say, look, we will support you people to elect Joseph Boakai. So the verse. They went there today talking all kind of tabata all around the place. But I'll say this, there are several reasons why Josh Weah should go. Why we sit on this show, I was just looking at some report, some World Bank thing. I'm not normally a fan of World Bank. They don't have to tell me that the country is one of the poorest in the world, second to the bottom among the 10 poorest. When you walk in the street, Fadiga, you see poverty in the faces of the people. You see drug killing young people. I never heard about Kush. They start picking and dying left and right from that Kush. When they come from taking it, they see they come from sparking. For a president who claimed to have grown up, been reared in the slums, and become president for 6 years and doesn't care about the people living in the slum. This man, even the football he played, he promised 7 mini stadiums around the country. They ain't built one. There's no football program to even rehabilitate people who you could have taken from drugs activity. No sports center. You build one playground for yourself on the FE. You see that playground for children, that invisible park.
Okay.
And one playground, you build another one behind BTC.
Okay, more.
All these really culminated together means that we must go like day before yesterday, and not 2020, not October. Thank you and good night.
Thank you very much, Mo. Hope to see you again. Colonel Remy Gray.
All right. I think we must always remember that obtaining credit is not a bad thing. Managing credit to leverage someone else's money to maximize your potential is good. I don't think we're going to hold the IMF board of directors responsible if we went there to borrow money to enhance our public sector development, or the World Bank. I want to see whether former Minister Sai, who is probably one of the most authoritative figures with the IMF, will be held accountable for approving Liberia some investment opportunities, because the government that managed that investment performed so dismally and abused that opportunity. That is where I can connect. I hope I'm speaking clearly for the like of Wozi or even Fadiga, who understands only Russian, as he indicated. I hope I'm speaking the language clearly. And if you can't, reach me later on, and we shall go on on one-on-one on this. But to come back, and when you name Mr. Cummings to be on all of these boards, it just shows how very influential this guy is. I mean, this guy is your go-to guy when you need something done in terms of finance. I want to see some of our political leaders have those kinds of far-reaching influences, where you can, when you need something done for Liberia. We had Dr. Moneyback come in here the other day saying he needs about $2 billion just to probably connect roads. How is he going to get it? He's not going to get it from our revenue generation. He's going to look somewhere to borrow. This is where people like the Alex Cummings come in, because the idea of leveraging that money for the benefit of the state, if we're not pocketed some of this money in our private chartels or our private banks, Liberia would be far advanced today. 177 years probably. We've still been doing the wrong thing over and over. This is not about appointing a Messiah, or a Messiah is not paid attention to. No one is a Messiah. But when you hire somebody to do the job, you want somebody to do it in a way that will benefit you. I always ask, if you had $1 million and somebody were to invest that money for you, who do you go to? I'm not going to call names. You go to the guy who has done it perfectly. And let's go back to Article 4.2, 4.3 of the Code of Conduct. It tells you clearly, go there and look. 5 talks about governmental appointees. 4 talk about public servant and how you should impartially dispense your work so that you don't create conflict in the workplace. Law is very beautiful. Liberia got abundance of law. When I studied law in Liberia, as we have all this law, yet our state is so lawless. It's because we have not had an enforcer of the law. And most people are afraid now that the new sheriff, if he gets in town, all that lawlessness will end. That's the basis of this fear. That's not because he's a Messiah. It's because if that sheriff gets in town, Liberia will be straight and will be law-abiding going forward. Regardless of how you look at this, that is the bottom line why people are so jittery and afraid. Business as usual will end.
Thank you, Remy Gray. I'm going to come to you, Wazi.
Well, thank you, Dr. Francine. I listened to the analysis from that are made by Mo Ali and then Conor Gray, and also Fagon Waju. I mean, before he went off. And I mean, they're all interesting, very interesting points. And these kinds of conversations are very necessary, and they add up to the collective effort of us as Liberians working towards strengthening the fabric of our democracy. So no matter which party we belong to or our political ideology, I think our common denominator is the motherland. We are all compatriots. So one thing I'll just like to flag, taking bits and pieces from some of the points that you guys already made, is that there is a need for us to agree in principle that we will do everything possible to maintain the peace of our country. But the onus lies, on the ruling party to do everything possible to put into place the requisite infrastructure that will ultimately give birth to a free, fair, and transparent elections. And it's important for partisans of our party, of the CDC, to see reason, to avoid all forms of provocation, because the international community will be looking at Liberia, and if I is looking at Liberia now with keen interest, like the way we were on the radar during the Civil War, because a lot of things are happening. When you see the United States government flag issue against the government, you talk about extrajudicial killings, different antisocial vices. These are alarming issues. It's embarrassing for some of us who belong to the establishment to be flagging some of these things, but we try to be real so that we can resolve some of the issues. And it would be a remiss for anybody within the CDC to sit down and say the election finished or CDC has won the elections. That would be a big mistake. Presidents or political parties controlling billions, like I think the APC or the party, Obasanjo's party in Nigeria, lost the elections to the current president. The elections in Ghana. I remember I was on my way to the UK during the Ghanaian election that took Mahama from power. I met a custom officer at the airport. The guy told me, "Oh, this election is over. Mahama already won the elections." I was surprised when Mahama got defeated. But again, sometimes African leaders surround themselves with people are considered as political nincompoops who tell them things that they want to hear, and they have them, they mislead them and push them towards, push them into a situation, that they find themselves tied up with, that they cannot so easily get out of, and they can end up, getting tempted to use the military to seize power. And it's important for all the political parties, and I want to commend the opposition for the level of organization. And I think it's important it adds to the beauty of our democracy, so that if the president gets re-elected, he must struggle to get re-elected, so that he doesn't just take the power and use it anyhow, or allow anybody to share the power with him and start misbehaving. So if you are a president and then you surround yourself with people who abuse your authority or use that against the people who elected you, you should struggle to get back. Then you will know the importance of it. I know sometimes God gave some things to some people undeservingly, or sometimes they get it and they don't really know the importance. So they do a lot of things that they got no reason doing. So in the case of Liberia, we all pray, whether we'll be in Liberia or not, we all pray for the best for our country, and we wish the country well, wish all Liberians well, and we hope and pray that the Liberian people in general will do everything possible to keep to maintain the peace. It's very important. And Dr. Richardson, I don't have enough time now. Yeah, I know the show is already over. Yes. But our edition tomorrow and on Saturday, I want to flag some issues. Some of the press conferences I've been here of late, to me, they don't make sense. I want to provide in-depth analysis on some of those issues. Some of the remarks from some government officials the policy implications, the political implications, the contradictions, and different aspects of some of these statements, and the possibility, the violence provocation aspect of some of those statements. We also want to look at them critically, also analyze some of the happenings within the opposition community. So thank you very much. It's always a wonderful time appearing on this platform. So I want to commend you for coordinating this so professionally. Thanks to my good friend, Comrade Mo Ali. Mama, you're looking very sharp. My palawa made Hassan Fadiga, and to my own boss, my own corner there. Once a soldier, always a soldier corner. I salute you. Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
I wish you all the best.
Join us tomorrow.
So Santa Waterspoon, we're going backstage to make palawa. Santa got something for me. I'll go for it with Jesse.
In the chat room, once he can wake up 3, 4 o'clock, 12 o'clock, any time of the night, wherever he is.
Right.
You talk about violence.
Won't tell you. Nobody responded. One
there. Yes. So join us tomorrow to listen to Wazi's views on.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Today, I think it's either Friday and Saturday. He'll be on Spoon discussing and analyzing what Eugene Nangwe said on the radio. I think specifically, I'm going to just do my closing quickly, and I'm going to focus on 3 things again. One is Liberians. I want you to be very, very mindful as we are engaging in our elections season of people who just come and tell you information, provide information without giving any specific reference, evidence. I'm sorry if I have to stress the fact issue. I actually come from a school of thoughts that you have to draw a conclusion. When I grade students' paper, you can't just come and put a hypothesis and you don't back up your hypothesis with literature or facts, okay? So when people come here, don't just let them say, oh, I saw this information, this place, I saw this information, this place, therefore information A and information B is A plus B, okay? That is equal. No. Let them tell you, let them show us evidence. And I will say this today, if Mr. Cummings, who I support, presents information that is contrary to what is in the best interest of Liberia, or he presents any kind of falsehood to the Liberian people, I'll be the first one to tell you, because it is about my integrity and it's about Liberia. It is not just about me wanting to win or wanting to be on the right side or wanting to support somebody. No. So Liberians, be very, very mindful. I want to also tell you that the role of, I've been in many situations where I happen to be under the leadership of a board, okay? Board members can also excuse themselves from the meeting if they find that it's a conflict of interest. If we have regular minutes from the board that tells us that this board member voted XYZ way, then let that person who tells you that this board member was in favor of voting in a way that was not in the best interest of Liberia, let them bring the minutes of the board, okay, of the board meeting. Don't let them just go on website and say, oh, this is what a board member does. There's different types of board members, by the way. Let Google it. There's also different types of ways that board interacts. When somebody say a board member is supposed to plan the strategy of the organization, that's exactly what they're doing, planning the strategy of the information based on what they got from Sarah Middleman's report. Like in my situation, being in the classroom, my direct interaction with students are the ones who make the report to the dean.
Their board debate will continue on tomorrow.
Well, to the dean, and then also from the dean, it goes to the vice president of administration. From the vice president of administration, it goes to the president of the university. From the president of university, then it may go to the board. So all of these people have an opportunity to review reports and make corrections and then present it to the quarterly board meeting. And that's what they mean by, the board coming to vote on a certain issue. My second comment, or my last comment will be, today, tomorrow, yesterday, I condemn what happened in the legislature today. Somebody can say it's a political ground. Go back and read our code of conduct. Article 4.0 talk about the civic responsibilities of the legislature and the people who work in that building. And it talks about interfering with politics in the country, interfering with elections in the country. Interfering is a very interesting word. It's very subjective, and only a court can decide about that. Okay? But it tells you that they put that in the code of conduct so that people will not just go and campaign on the legislature ground. What if I used again the anecdote? What if I didn't want to get up to sing and praise George Weah today? How does that interfere with my rights of being a legislative staffer? How might I be seen by others in that building as an opposition? Would I be marked? Would I, like Good Day explain here, that $150? Would I still get my share of the $150 because I didn't stand up and clap today? So those are the questions that I think we should think for. And lastly, again, I leave you with the 3 C's. When you are looking to vote for a leader, think about competency. Mr. Cummings often say, the best predictor of future behavior is the past behavior. If your government is not doing nothing for you right now, it's not working in the best interest of Liberia, if your government is allowing you to go to bed hungry, if your government is holding women who just had baby hostage at JFK, if your government is allowing your food to waste and rot because they have not come out with any plan for you to market your products to other people or brought any investors in the country for you to at least be able to market your products and make money, then that is past behavior that will just continue on and on. You don't need to be voting for that person. The other C I would like to talk to you about creativity. Liberia is complex. We are behind. We are so outdated in our country. I don't know if people realize that. It would take a creative leader, not a leader that just been in leadership position, not a leader that just been in leadership position for years. People can do that. We've done that in Liberia. That's what happened after the colonial years. Leaders who were in power, they just sat there and got paid. They didn't do plenty of work at all because nobody was checking them. They were only interested in eating and letting crumbs drop for the regular people. That's all they were doing. Go and check the history on colonial years in Africa. But today, in today's world, we're going to be checkmating our leaders. What have you done for us lately? What have you done is the question. And that's what creativity is going to take. We got rich resources. We have resources in our country that can build our nation. We need someone who's creative, that when I walk to the World Bank and when I walk into IMF office, I know how to negotiate. Somebody described Mr. Cummings as a financial analyst. I love that word. Yes, he is going to be the one who can negotiate for us. And lastly, I want to talk about someone who can communicate with you. Somebody who's not just going to hold press conferences in churches. No, we don't want that. Liberia is at the place where Liberians need to be informed about what is happening in the country, because that limits the vacuum, that closes up the vacuum of making up lies or making up fears out of what is happening in the country. So when you can communicate and talk to people every step of the way, I think it contributes to a better Liberia. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you very much, panelists. You know, I'm so happy someone like Wazi can be here today. Fadika can be here today. Remy Gray can be here today. Good Day. All of us here are doing this simply on volunteer basis. We are taking up our time, sometimes rushing from one job to the other. Last night, me and Fadika was talking. I think it was maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. Wazi was part of the conversation too. He said, Doc, what are you doing? So I said, I'm working. I'm doing psychological reports, because this time that I'm taking to be here with you, I should be doing my work, but I'll be up late tonight doing my work. Yes, we may not have all the information to you 100%, but we strive to make sure that we provide the information that will help make you make good decisions for our country. So thank you very much. I'm going to pass it over to James. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay, folks, thank you for watching, and thank you for also following us on our Vero radio stations and other platforms. we love to say thank you, and we will be back tomorrow, Liberian time at 8 p.m. Until then, thank you so much. My name is James Samuel Kude Flomo, and this is how I love to say good night till we meet tomorrow.
From the CEO, Stan with the spoon, and your boy Friday the South.
Magic, call me when I'm off, please.
To the spoon.